Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another Star Wars Toy Talk and live chat. Black Series wishlist time once again, and we're putting a nice little bow on all the previous Black Series wishlists that we've done over the last few months with the end of the Black Series. And just to throw it to the comments already, but Art Deco 78, we know it's not going to happen. It's all hypothetical. I want to preface this stream by saying the idea is stolen. So a shout out to Out of the Basement and Monday Night Figure Ball for the concept. This is, like I said, a hypothetical end of the Black Series, and what it allows us guys to do is just put together a dream assortment of action figures, really. So if you've tuned into any of our previous Black Series wish lists, you know that we've picked all the characters from various media that we want to see. So we've covered the Skywalker Saga itself, we've covered The Mandalorian, Andor, Rebels, Clone Wars, Gaming Greats, you name it, we've covered it. And this is, like I said, just an amalgamation of all those different themes and all that different media. And again, like I said, just an opportunity for us to come together and put together a dream assortment of Black Series figures. And I would argue, and I hope you guys will agree with me, that this is probably the most fun list that we've put together so far. It's just afforded us an opportunity to get so creative, dive into that really weird side of Star Wars that we love so much, and we've put our own little slant on it as well, thanks to Mr. East, who broached the idea. So we've put together a wave of 6 figures each, with each character spanning, like I said, every form of Star Wars media possible. So we're diving into Legends, we're diving into the EU, we're diving into Clone Wars, animation, Mandalorian, OT, PT, sequels. It's all here in this stream, and I'm so excited to dive into this one because we have picked some really, really cool figures and characters for this Black Series wish list. So, like I said, we've added a little bit of a gimmick to the waves themselves, and we'll get into that later on in the stream. But we've also come together to pitch some exclusives as well. And I'm going to preface this part of the stream as well by saying none of these exclusives should be available through Hasbro Pulse. That's all I'm going to say on that one. Fan channel only. For reasons. But yeah, we thought, if the Black Series were to hypothetically end, the chances are that there'd be a ton of exclusives to follow. And I think exclusives have played such a big role in the Black Series itself, to the line's detriment in some cases, in others, not so much. It's afforded collectors a chance to get their hands on action figure multi-packs, vehicles, characters that we wouldn't have necessarily seen in the main line. So yeah, we've put together an assortment of exclusives as well for this conclusion of the Black Series line. So guys, are you ready? Are you ready to dive in?
Oh yeah.
It's
gonna get good. It's gonna get good. Before we get to the meat and bones of the stream, we're gonna throw it to recent pickups because we've got a few to cover. And we're going to do, thanks to James, a little bit of a mini Black Series overview / review because you've just had some seriously tasty goodies come in, mate. So talk us through it. Let's see. Show me what you got.
Okay. So, oh shit! I've just fucking dropped it. We're off to a fine start, boys. But luckily, because he's posed that well, it wasn't fucking knackered. There we go. Let's do some of that 2003 videographer skill, so you can get a proper look at that bad boy.
Oh, he's so good.
Oh, very nice.
Okay. So is it not a removable helmet?
No, so I'm not going to demonstrate it for you because it's very stiff. But yeah, so it's swappable head this time, so specifically because of the neck. So when he's got the helmet on screen, he's got a shawl over his neck, or a scarf, or whatever it may be.
That's
so this
cool.
time they opted to do a little swap out feature, which works. This is where I want going forward. No more removable helmets.
Yeah.
I just think the proportions are shit. which I'll come to with another figure. So, just as you want off the screen, basically, likeness is solid. Lightsaber splits in two, so you can, assemble both of those back into a single one.
Oh wow! Okay.
He's got soft goods trousers, which is a bit weird. Because in all the promo pictures, I just thought it was like a really long lower tunic, and I think I assumed that from the show as well. But it's got multi-layers of soft goods, and you can take everything off to have him just in like his Jedi-esque robes. So the only version you can't really make is the version when he goes and has a bath.
Damn. That's a shame. That's a shame.
Oh, that looks good.
Then we've got Lieutenant Gale, who, I mean, for me, it's just a regular clone, really. But
that helmet sculpt looks really good.
It's so spot on. Like, the only thing that's doing this a disservice is the fact that it's a removable helmet and not a sculpt in itself. Because it is a bit fat and it does sort of like splay out at the sides a bit more than it ought to, but it's really nice. Like, it's such a shame that we got this with this figure. Like, we got its debut on this guy and not with the 501st that came in the anniversary Revenge of the Sith box.
Yeah.
Well, it's really nice. Everything else is what you come to expect. White plastic's a bit different on this one, but not too noticeable.
I feel like that might be the sleeper of that wave, to be fair, because it's the only one that I'm not overly and this sounds ridiculous coming from me, but it's the only one that I'm actually not that overly fussed about picking up. I want the other figures first.
Yeah. I was thinking that myself, but when I opened it, it was like, oh, okay.
Yeah, now you're showing it on screen, it looks mint.
I don't know how well you'll be able to make it out on the camera, but the hands, they're both trigger finger hands this time, like we've come to expect recently. But they've both got the up and down articulation instead of one having the side to side. So they're more or less identical sculpts, left and right.
That's class.
But again, I mean, it would have been not. I don't think we got that on Rex. I think one of Rex's was, articulated oppositely. But would have been nice to get that. But this should be the gold standard for clones going forward now.
You sold me.
Just give me everything with that helmet, please. I know you were eager to see this one, Steve.
Yeah, I'm eager because I've been banging this drum for years that the Sandtrooper needed an update, especially on that new Stormtrooper body, which I'm still going to advocate for. But I've seen side by sides with the old Sandtrooper, and I've got to say the detail on the older ones looks better.
Yeah, I've got this will be the next one going up on Instagram later, and I've written a bit about that because the helmet, especially, it seems a little soft in appearance. It's almost like they've hammered this one out so much now that the mold's starting to show at the factory.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say, is that the detail on the older version seems a little bit more crisp and defined, whereas on this it feels a lot softer.
Yeah.
Even like the weathering and the sculpt on the armor and stuff, it feels not quite as crisp.
What people need to take into consideration, I suppose, is the original Sandtrooper was, the first out of the mold.
Yeah.
So, minus the paint master, that's as crisp as you were ever going to see that one. Whereas this guy, how many Stormtroopers have they put out? The body's fine, and the weathering's quite nice. The backpack actually sits correctly with this guy. I know the original Sandtroopers, it was a little higher than it should have been.
Yeah.
And then because of that, it allows the ammo pack to sit correctly as well. And then you do get the new blaster, which I specifically researched the name of this before we come on. And now I've fucking forgot it. But, yeah, that's nice. Although in A New Hope, only the White Pauldron Sandtrooper carries this. That being said, though, I would like them to take this and do all the other versions, but give us a new helmet sculpt like what they've just done with Gale.
Yeah.
because you see sand troopers that have got the raised brow on the top of the helmet. So I think this is okay for this release, but going forward,
I like what C-Line said in the comments that the helmet on that one looks like the special edition helmet, which is quite cool. But I think, like you said, I think that helmet sculpt is in. The rest of the figure's absolutely banging, but the Stormtrooper helmet definitely needs a resculpt.
Yeah, definitely. These aren't, to most people, they're not new anymore. But there are some minor differences to the comic concept, most notably just with the heads. So they're a little more matte in appearance, and the at least on my copies, the face printing is more detailed than on the basic heads that come with the special set. But,
so it's pre-Mustafar Sweat then?
Yeah, pretty much.
No, they look cool. I've pre-ordered these two because I missed out on the comic concept, so I'm really super keen for them, especially the Anakin.
I ain't saying nothing. My wallet weeps.
But yeah, those are all kinds of cool. Very happy to have them early, as always. But I also, enjoy giving everybody a quick, well, I wouldn't say HD look right now, but when my photos go up, and if you're in the Out of the Basement Discord, I already dumped everything there early, so people can get a solid look, because I've noticed a bit of, a few people making assumptions and misinformation going around, so I just wanted everybody to have realistic expectations before they got them in hand, because a lot of people these days seem to dismiss figures before they've experienced them, like, I'm not buying that because of this or that, but it's worth your time, and I think it's a solid wave. It's one of the best ones in a while.
Yeah, it's the assortment that I like. It feels like it's been a while since we've had a wave that covers that many different parts of media. So it's really cool to see that. Yeah, I'm here for that. It's like I say, I've pre-ordered Anakin and Obi-Wan purely out of FOMO because I cannot afford to miss out again. But yeah, there's some sleepers in that wave, I think, definitely. Some that I myself had overlooked, but you've now sold me on. So cheers for the advanced preview, James. Appreciate that,
You're
mate.
all right.
Dan, what have you picked up? It's been before we get into it, what have you picked up? Happy belated birthday, buddy.
Thank you. Thank you. To be fair, it's not been what I've picked up for the most part.
I was just about to say, it's
been fucking spoil. Oh, see, I've been trying to save. That's gone well. It's gone really well. One of the items I don't actually have in hand, but James has shown it last stream, I think, or a stream or so back. I'd like to show it. Well, I'm waiting for it. I don't want to discuss the price that I paid for it. It was a lot. Moving on. Here's a surprising one. Who's ready for this?
Oh, yeah.
I bought a vintage collection. What's wrong with me?
Bloody hell, Dan.
I know. Am I feeling okay?
On a Black Series stream.
On a Black Series stream. There's a couple of 3-inch bits on the way here, but I saw this and I was like, I need it. I don't know why. It's Chopper. I love Chopper, and he's in his little Imperial disguise. So yeah, that's a fantastic little figgy. I don't agree with the price. This was a real impulse buy. I was like, you know what? I've been a good boy. Let's get him for that. Little fella, that little fella. I don't know if I'm going to own card it or keep it carded. I'm split, but he were a fun one. I just thought it was so cute, and that's that, and that's probably going to be one of the only vintage buys I buy in some time. If you're looking at real vintage, this is what I got for my birthday. One of the many things I got for my birthday. Yeah. I got Dash Renders, Outrider, Power of the Force, Shadows of the Empire. I haven't got the stickies on yet because I've only actually just unboxed it today. But oh man,
How incredible that something from the 90s has stickers. Hasbro surely would never include such things with today's items.
And it even does that. It does this. I love this. I'm a big fan. I don't know where I'm going to put it. That's going to be a running theme of this little whole segment. Where's that going to go? I'll work it out today, apparently. Some things I know will fit on a shelf for me 6-inch. I got a couple of 6-inch figures. So I bought these for myself because I got them on discount. So I've already got Balin, but I needed him with his cloak and he looks really cool. Thanks, Steve. Cheers for your review, mate.
That's quite all right.
Me, you little shit. But oh man, I love him. He looks awesome. I don't think it's kind of an orangey colour. It's not as orange as Shin's though, because I got Shin. She got 12 quid. Got her for
bargain.
Yeah, it's
That's
a bit.
Right.
Yeah. I don't think it's the orange lightsaber variant for Bale. Well, that's fine. It's okay. Hasbro.
Do you know what, as well? Like, despite all the
It's
hate
not
that
bad.
those two figures get, I think something that doesn't get said enough, and I don't think I even mentioned this in my review, but obviously when they first got released without the robes, and then they got re-released with the robes, I think when you take the soft goods off, they feel like two different figures, depending on how you display them. I think the soft goods just goes so far to improve those figures. Not that they're bad figures. Obviously, they've got their issues. They've got their issues, but they're not bad figures. But the soft goods just elevates them so much.
Adds a bit of quality, doesn't it? And I think some of the best soft robes we've ever had.
Yeah.
They're really, really nice. So I'm super pleased to pick these up. Not for full RRP as well, which is always nice.
Very nice.
And I also got, so I bought this one for myself because I was impatient. Marin, she is fucking awesome. I love her. So yeah, can't wait to get her reviewed, get her posed up on shelf. I love the magic effect.
Yeah, she
lovely
looks class.
stuff. And then we also got this is the one I got for my birthday. Ezra, Space Jesus, Space Moses himself, and he looks absolutely awesome. I'm well chuffed with him. I can't wait to again get him reviewed, get him posed up, get some pickies of him. He's very cool, and that is basically it. I will segue this into Steve because I got a big birthday, a big boy birthday present. But I'll let Steve do the honors with this one because you've got a fucking tale of woe to tell with this.
Right. Okay then.
Brutal, mate. Brutal.
To quote the birthday boy himself, buckle in, buckaroos.
Quite literally, we're going on a tour.
Fucking hell. Right.
Oh, look at that. And it's not HasLab prices either.
I'm just gonna take a minute.
Toy of the year.
Well, what a bloody saga. In and of itself, this was. Chuffing hell, look at the size of it. Fucking hell.
It's girthy.
Oh my God. It is. It's weighty, it's girthy, it's long. Beautiful. It's absolutely wonderful. It is the Star Speeder 1000, which Star Tours is proud to present. No, I am absolutely fucking jazzed.
Yeah.
To actually have this because, like I said, this has been a saga unto itself because I, along with Dan, pre-ordered this on May the 4th when it went live at the Disney store, and this for me has been one of my holy grails when it comes to collecting because it's not the first Star Speeder that they've ever released. I think maybe 2011, 2012, possibly.
Yeah.
Disney Parks put out a 3 3/4 inch scaled Star Speeder that was exclusive to the parks, and I made my first trip to Disneyland Paris in 2017, firmly expecting, naively, that they'd still be available. And when I got there, they weren't. So I was gutted. But it's always been like, I mean, since I'm getting to ride Star Tours for the first time, I was like, I've got to have one of these in the collection now, 100%. Because like the vehicle itself is just, I'll preface it by saying I just absolutely love all things Star Tours and Disney Parks related. And I am dreading February when I come back from Galaxy's Edge and trying to find the space for the stuff that I buy from there, because this has been a challenge all of its own. But yeah, it's been a grail piece for a really long time, and like they did the D23 Star Speeder as well. There was the Star Speeder 3000, the white version that came with Captain Rex, and that obviously wasn't obtainable for us in the UK unless you paid out your nose for it from the US. So I just thought, you know what, I've given up hope. I'm never going to get one of these things. And then May 4th came around, and this thing went up for pre-order, and I was like, I've got to have one. So shout out to my wife who pre-ordered it for me as an early Christmas gift. It was supposed to have initially shipped this month, but a little story to be told. I got, and as well as many others as well, and if Matt's in the chat, Matt Brazier from Twin Sons Collecting, he will attest to this, but I think it was about 3 or 4 weeks ago, those who pre-ordered this thing got a lovely email from the Disney Store customer service team that said, "We've made a boo. Oh, we've made a cock up. We're sorry, but we don't have enough stock to fulfill your pre-order, so your order's been cancelled." And I was just like, what? Like, that makes absolutely zero sense. And so obviously, being the Karen that I am, I didn't let it slide. I emailed Disney Store. I sent messages to their Facebook page. I hounded them on Instagram with story after story and tagged them incessantly, just like, you know, I want an explanation. Why the hell has this thing been cancelled? And you've not told us what the reason is. So, oh man, it's, if you follow me on Instagram, if you follow me on Facebook, then you already know the story behind the pre-order cancellations and all that sort of stuff. So I'm not going to go all the way through the journey because it'll take up the majority of the stream, to be quite honest. But basically, long story short, they hadn't received enough stock to fulfill all the pre-orders that had been placed. So at random, they were just cancelling people's pre-orders. I mean, Dan, for example, pre-ordered his several hours after mine.
Ages after yours, or on the blow to Farmer East. Like, hello, I'd like this.
And his never got cancelled. But I, who pre-ordered it literally the minutes after it went live on the website, got mine cancelled. And like I said, Twin Sons Collecting had theirs cancelled as well. And yeah, it was just, I just couldn't understand it. It didn't make any sense. So I didn't let it go. And a big shout out as well goes out to James Burns over at Jedi News, who's got contacts over at Disney, and he was able to push it further as well and get this issue raised to head office. And ultimately it got resolved, hence the big box that's in front of me. So like I said, I'm not going to go into the fundamentals and the really nitty gritty on this one because it's just it's a saga of its own. But crisis was averted, disappointment was avoided, and finally, the Star Speeder 1000 is part of my collection, and Dan's got one as well.
I've got one, but I don't know where to put it.
So we're going to get together at some point in the near future, and we're going to do a little bit of a joint review on it because it's quite honestly just too big for one person to review. So yeah, we're going to get together for some content on that one. At some point. I'm going to try and just adjust my camera if I can do it without disconnecting it, just to show you where I've got mine displayed at the minute. So she's up there.
Oh,
I need a deeper shelf though.
she is beauty. She is grace.
She is an absolute joy to behold, and I'm so glad that I've got one. So shout out to everybody involved in getting Disney to listen and sort that one out. Absolutely, like Dan said, toy of the year, hands down.
Yeah.
It's absolutely unreal. It's such a cool toy. I mean, you've got the LCD screen with the ride footage. You've got enough space in there to house 25 figures, which don't come with it, sadly. But, you know, if that was... all I'm going to say is if that was a HasLab, you'd probably be paying double for a lot less.
This has its own little screen. It's
got a video screen inside it. It's got a video screen that plays the ride footage. All the lights inside it are all synced up. And I think, like me and Dan were saying about this during the whole performance of trying to get a hold of one, was taking into, because that's the argument that I'm seeing surrounding the gunship at the minute, and the price point on that is that every time anybody says, "Oh, it's too rich for my blood" or "It's too expensive," there's a counter argument that, well, you're not adjusting it for inflation, and actually, blah blah blah, bollocks, right? Financially, you think we talked about this, 2008, right? Hasbro released a Millennium Falcon that was the size of my house. They released an ATTE packed with removable panels, like articulation, shit. There's so many features.
Speeder bike, yeah.
Yeah, right. Lights and sounds. Yeah, lights and sounds. And each of those vehicles in 2008, so 17 years ago, each of those vehicles cost £150 in the UK. Can't adjust that for the US, and because I'm not a Wall Street man. 150 quid for massive vehicles, lights and sounds, the full shebang. So you tell me why in 2025 I can get my hands on a Star Speeder that's still fucking massive, that is packed with lights and sounds, and cost £260, which, taking inflation into consideration, is actually not that bad. Or I could have invested 450 quid into a Republic gunship that does fuck all. I'm sorry, but that's the hill that I'm going to die on. It doesn't do anything. It does nothing. It's a display piece, and it's 450 quid. And I know that not everybody wants a toy, because that is essentially what this is. It's a toy, right? But it's fun, and it's packed with shit that makes it good value for money, and that's my argument. And I don't...
It's licensing fees, though. It's licensing fees.
Since you mentioned inflation, Steve, the gunship does have a special feature, and it's about it. You know, does this cool thing where if you're over the age of 40, it automatically inflates your ego to the size of a fucking whale. Which is reason enough not to back it, in my opinion. I want my toys to be fun. I want to look at my shelf and see fun toys. Mm-hmm. Because they're awesome. I don't want to look at my shelf and see a month of fucking internet toxicity.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you want it, you do you. I don't fucking care anymore.
No.
Wake me up when there's a Black Series one.
Well,
oh yes,
that's a stream for another time. Hint, hint. But yeah, so I've got my Star Speeder. I'm a very happy boy, and then I've also picked up my first. It feels like forever since I picked up a Black Series figure, but I finally got as well the Jedi Temple Guard. I had to pre-order this one when it got revealed because I don't pre-order waves anymore. Although James with his wave may have just completely changed my mindset on that. But yeah, I don't tend to pre-order waves anymore. I just pick and choose because space is limited, and you know, life gets in the way of action figure budgets now and again. So it's just a lot healthier for me to pick and choose what I want. So I pre-ordered this guy when he went up because I didn't want the price of this one to inflate to the price of the 5POA 3 3/4 inch counterpart. Because if you look at the prices on that one online at the minute, it's absolutely insane. And considering this is only the second figure of this character that we've ever had as an action figure, I had to get it, and it's just so cool. I haven't unboxed it yet, but it just looks class. Sculpt, detail, articulation, everything looks absolutely sick on this guy. So yeah, absolutely stoked to have him in the collection, and he'll be getting reviewed in the coming days. So yeah, very, very happy boy.
Tasty.
So there we go.
Tasty.
Right. Shall we get into some Black Series stuff now?
Oh, yes, please.
Before the gunship swoops in and diverts the point of conversation once again.
and tanks it. And tanks the conversation.
Yeah. Just like it's going to tank as a project. Anyway.
Correct.
Right, so Black Series wishlist. Like I said, if you're just joining us a little bit later, then the topic of this stream today is the end of the Black Series. And again, it's hypothetical. It's an idea that we've shamelessly stolen from the guys at Monday Night Figure Ball and Out of the Basement. But I just love the concept, to be honest. It allows us to get really creative. It's allowed us to just get wild with it, really, and just pick characters that probably have got absolutely zero chance of getting made, but that we really want to see. And so to put a nice little bow on all the Black Series wish lists that we've done thus far, we're just going to be covering every aspect of Star Wars media. So the chains are off. There's no theme to confine us. It's just pure Black Series goodness, Star Wars goodness, and I'm absolutely stoked. We've been saying since we had this one planned that this is arguably the most fun wishlist stream we've put together so far, because the character selection, everything, it's just been such a joy to
the cheekiness as well, the sheer gall of it from some of us.
Well, this is it, because if you've tuned into the others who've put these lists out, then they've approached it from a point of view that, well, if it's the final wave of the Black Series, if the line's going to end, then it needs to be a wave of figures that we've been calling out for a long time, that are overdue and that are essential additions. We've just gone, yeah, essential additions are all well and good, and there are some essential additions in these lists, but then we've just gone, yeah, but I really want this figure from Legends that appeared in one panel of a comic book. I really want this guy from a video game that appeared for 2 seconds. We've just gone, do you know what? We've just thrown everything at this one, and it's just been such a joy to put it together. It's been a task, because we've been, toying with, do I pick this guy? Do I pick this one? I want this to be released, but I also want this, and it's just like we've been at war with ourselves over what to actually set in stone for our final picks, and
keeping track of what everyone else has picked as well. That's been fun.
Yeah, definitely. I've put a few polls out on my YouTube channel to sort of gauge what areas of the saga people want their Black Series figures to explore the most, and the results were surprising. And some of the characters that people have said, yeah, I really want this as a Black Series figure, I'm glad that they marry up with some of the ones that we've picked. So I think everyone who's tuning in, everyone who's a fan of the Expanded Universe, the original trilogy, the Clone Wars, like I said, every aspect of the saga is covered, and I think for the most part you'll all agree with what we've chosen. So let's dive into it, and we'll kick things off with our assortment of exclusives to begin with. Because again, if you're joining us a little bit later, not only have we put together a wave of 6 figures each with a little bit of spice added in for good measure, but we've also put together an assortment of exclusives as well. Because what is the Black Series without exclusives? So James, we're going to throw it to you first, mate, because your exclusive is... You talk about essential editions, you talk about long overdue, mate. I would have expected nothing else from you. So talk us through your pick. I get rid of that. There we go. Hang on. There we are.
Oh, yes, there we are. How have we never had figures of these in any, line or form? Like, not even just Hasbro. No company has decided that they want to tackle the Mortis gods. I think they're coming to the forefront of media in Ahsoka now. So, casual viewers as well as long-term fans are going to be familiar with these characters and what they represent. See, when you say we've chosen these, if the Black Series were to end, my stance on it was Hasbro have been told, bollocks to you, we're taking the Star Wars license off you, wrap everything up. So they've got like a 12-month budget to throw out the best of the best. But it's not, it's not all doom and gloom. There's a tiny bit of optimism in there of, well, if we do a really fucking good job, maybe the powers that be will change their minds, because people will just be left wanting more. And if these guys came out and they were done perfectly, then I think that's objective complete. They just need representing in some line. Definitely not vintage collection though. Just because I'm being a sour bastard about it. That's just me personally. If you're doing Clone Wars in 3 3/4 inch, it needs to be animated. It was Hasbro's like best-selling 3 3/4 inch action figure line. So TVC can, as far as I'm concerned, for those. Get these in Black Series. They look great on the shelf. It opens up a world of different things that could be made, to go with them if it wasn't dying. You could get loads of cool accessories, lightning effects for the son. Probably nothing for the father, really, unfortunately, saying that. But then the daughter, she could have the sword that is fetched to kill the son, and then Morai as well, which is, for me, something that's important and missing in 6-inch. So, this wouldn't be a Pulse exclusive, as you've said. Bollocks to that, because it'd only sell really poorly, give people the wrong impression, and then go on close out 6 months later for half the price. Give this to the, actual sellers that have supported the line for years, within the UK especially, because without them, there'd be next to no distribution, and the line probably wouldn't be at the point of where it is now, for us anyway, But yeah, big important characters. I think a lot of people would want these. Just make it happen, basically. Or, the line's dying wish. This is what I would like to see.
Do you know what? I thought of an accessory you could include with the father. I think it's the father, if my memory serves me correct. But include an alternative hand with Anakin's lightsaber, because he does that. One of the
he does. Yeah, he stops Anakin's saber.
Yeah. Include that, but this would be a sick set. Yeah, regardless of what they included with it.
And it's like I said, it's long overdue as well. Like the fact that they've been there was such a integral part of the Clone Wars, and like one of the when you talk about story arcs from that show, this is 9 times out of 10. I mean, you've got Umbara, but this one always stands out as a main story arc from the Clone Wars, and the fact that we've got absolutely zero action figure representation of any of these characters is criminal. But again, it's one of those, we've said it in previous streams, where, yes, it's taken Hasbro a while to get around to certain characters, but given the fact that they're doing them at the time that they are, it gives them the opportunity to put them out to the best of their ability. And I think that these figures coming out in 2025 versus in 2013 or whenever it was, they arguably will be so much better now than they would have been 10 or 12 years ago. So if it takes a while for stuff to come out, but it is the best it can possibly be, I'm all for it. And this as a 3-pack would just look absolutely fire. I'm picturing this in one of those 3-pack box sets, like the Jedi Fallen Order sets and the droid sets that they've done.
That's it.
So you've
mocked it up great with that background as well. That'd work a treat.
Yeah, that's what I mean with the with the mural in the background as well. It just looks so good. You know, yeah,
real reason to buy two. Just have them open and then to have them boxed.
100%. I think you could
really funky.
You could really present this one really well in and out of box.
This was my thinking as well. It's got to be a 3-pack. You can't release these guys individually.
Yeah.
But they belong together. But for me, it's very much, it's the forefront of the Clone Wars. It's some of the most memorable episodes. But then these are the episodes that I recommend to people who haven't watched the Clone Wars, who are thinking about it or hadn't thought about it, because it explores a lot of George's themes of the Force, and it's depending on how you interpret it from a certain point of view, it's the pivot point for the fate of the galaxy. It's got a huge part to play that people don't realize, and I think Dave's gonna go ahead and take it a lot further, and we'll see it repeated in a similar way. So,
that being said, I do like Collector Curve's idea as well. Gives them an opportunity to repack those Anakin and Obi-Wan figures that you showcased earlier, James.
Yeah, but if the line's dying,
yeah, just do it. Just cut to
in the far distant hypothetical future, people have they've probably already repacked that Anakin and Obi-Wan about 7 times. Let's be honest. the one reissue I would accept to pair with this set is the Clone Wars Ahsoka, but you paint it up to be the dark side version from when the sun corrupts her.
Yes, yeah,
yes, that'd look sick.
Yeah,
that'll do me.
Yeah, I'd be here for that as well. Oh, absolutely.
God. Oh man,
let's manifest it. Let's all get together. Come on, let's manifest it. It's got to happen.
I want it.
It's got to happen.
I need it.
Well, like I said, what's really cool about this concept for a wish list is that it just allows us to just get a little bit silly with it, and exclusives. I think it's safe to say, like you've got to take the cheat on this one, and you've got to say, well, I don't just want one figure as an exclusive. This is the opportunity to just get as many out into the line as possible. And Dan, your exclusive pick. So it's just, so juicy. Yeah. It's
just
so
to
juicy.
Say, James actually said this one, and I didn't see it in the chat. And I was like, I want Mortis Gods. And I was like, nah, James has said that. I was like, sweet, yes, I can choose something else. So I was like, what do I do? What can I go with? This would be I'd name this the Mandalorian Legacy Pack. So
and you know what? Just before you start, just what I love so much about this is that it's such a callback to those Evolution sets of old. They were the 3 3/4 inch collector in me still absolutely loves those Evolution sets, Evolutions, comic packs, all that sort of stuff. I'm here for it, and this is just such a throwback to that. Proceed. So
no, thank you for prefacing that. So let's go from, is it left to right, whichever way you're looking at it. I don't know. So first up, just going from the furthest back in the timeline to the Old Republic, or even before, Mandalore the Ultimate. This would be a freaking fire figgy, because he's literally the point of how the Mandalorians now form themselves. Like, there used to be a race, but he changed the idea. It's like, it don't have to be a race. We can just get everyone and everyone. Welcome to the cult. Welcome them to the cause. And he's just a badass. He's just an absolute badass. I'm pretty sure he works with Revan. He's just got a lot of history, and the helmet, the armor, his blaster, he's got a weird like scythe thing, if I'm not mistaken. He would just make the soft goods. This would just, for a real shelf presence, would be there. It would be that. It would be amazing. I did toy around with the idea of doing it as a figure and beast pack. Well, I'll say beast pack, figure and droid pack, where he comes with his War Basilisk. I'd love to see a War Basilisk in Black Series, but realistically, I think it's that big of a thing. Maybe a Hasbro Pulse project, God forbid it. But just to get Mandalore the Ultimate, I'd be really happy. But if he could come with his War Basilisk, Hasbro, oh yeah, baby. Moving on comes the Clone Wars era.
Yeah.
Duchess Satine needs to be made. She is such an integral character in Obi-Wan's story arc at this point now. You know, a secret love interest until we found out her in the Clone Wars, her unfortunate, spoiler alert, demise. I would love, this would be a beautiful figure. The colours on her, you know, purple, blues, greens. It'll be stunning. I wouldn't even be mad at Hasbro if they didn't include any accessories, because the amount of paint and detail that they could really do would just be incredible. I'd love to see them interpret this character as, you know, as a Black Series figure. She has very different, you know, various different costumes, but I'd want her to be in a very Duchess regal look, because it's a complete contrast to the three. You know, you've got the old, and then the new. Well, for Clone Wars era, the more, don't want to say liberal, kind of like new ideology of what a Mandalorian can be. We're not these warmongers anymore. We want a bit of peace. Some of us, at least, want a bit of peace, a bit of diplomacy, a bit of chill. That's Satine for me. She's the balance between these kind of spectrums. And then, of course, moving on to Gar Saxon. Now, Gar Saxon, I would take as either his Clone Wars look or Imperial. But I think Imperial, for me, just to add that complete sort of balance. He kind of looks, the red kind of matches with the look of Mandalore the Ultimate, and just the fact that it's how far thrown Mandalorians have become, or some of them at least, to the fact that they're now working with the Empire, a thing that Mandalore the Ultimate would be completely against. Mandalorians love to fight everyone and themselves. And the fact that there's this Mandalorian's like, yeah, sure, put a little Imperial cog on me. I'll be a little soldier for you. Go on. No, you shit. I think this just embodies everything about the Mandalorian culture that we've seen in various different medias, the various different ideologies that what a Mandalorian can be and is. If you wanted to push the letter, if Hasbro wanted to really do a 4-pack, then go on, whab in an actual Mandalorian, the Mandalorian Din Djarin. But this to me would be amazing.
It's like you said, I think you couldn't have described this one better if I asked you to be honest, mate. Because that just like, it's like you said, it just covers every ideology of Mandalore throughout the eras, and it's just such a like I said, it just invokes that evolutions vibe for me. It's just a progression of a not just one character, but a series of characters, and it's just like you say, it represents every ideology that they've had over the years, and I love it. I know some people in the chat have mentioned that the Gar Saxon figure should be a Clone Wars version, but I heartily agree with you on the Imperial choice, purely just because of that progression. Like, you've already got your Clone Wars representation with Satine. I'd go for a Gar Saxon from Clone Wars over an Imperial one as a mainline release.
Yeah, 100%.
Then I'd say get Gar Saxon out there with his maul coloration and the horns and the blaster rifle and all that sort of stuff. Like, to go to town on a mainline release. But I think for the purpose of this set, the Imperial one works so well.
Yeah, it's a representation of the main three powers in the galaxy at the respective points in time.
Yes, that
so
as well.
It makes more sense to be the Imperial version for me. And you know, you've already got one Clone Wars figure, so give us a Rebels one. You just bounce it out. You know, adding bits to each shelf, that works.
Yeah, definitely. And again, I'm envisioning it in one of those boxes. Oh, Fire. Absolute fire. Mandalorian Legacy. Love it. Love it. Well, speaking of Legacy, my pick comes. It's not a 3-pack. I'm breaking the mold. It's a 2-pack, and I've been toing and froing between what I wanted to choose as my exclusive because there's so many areas of Star Wars that I could pick figures from to put into an action figure set. But I thought, you know what, bugger it. As the name suggests, Sith Lord 229 chooses.
It's gotta be
Sith Lords Darth Krayt and Darth Bane. Now, the reason I've gone for Darth Krayt is purely from an action figure aesthetic standpoint. Again, if you've tuned into any of these streams in the past, you know that James is the one to dive into the lore and the history and the story surrounding these characters, and that's his justification for choosing characters. Me, I'm just, if it's toyetic and it'll display well on a shelf, I'm in. And they don't have much more shelf presence, I think, than Darth Krayt. He was released in 2010, I believe, as part of Comic Pack.
One of the last comic packs to be released.
With I forget the name of the Imperial Knight that he was packed with. I remember the other two, Gunnar Krieg and Antez Draco, but I can't remember the one that was included with Krayt. I've got her as well, and it's really annoying that I can't remember her name. It's gone completely. But the 3 3/4 inch figure of this character was absolute fire. And I think in Black Series, in 6-inch, done right with the amount of sculpted detail in his armor, and Seigel there, that's it, Sea Lion Studios. Cheers, mate.
There we go.
Yeah, the amount of detail in the armor, just the intricate nature of how this one is put together, and not to mention the fact that it's a Sharad hair underneath the mask, like a massive character in the old EU. Tusken Raider turned Jedi, lives far beyond the expected timeline of a normal human being, and becomes this just maniacal Sith Lord that leads an army of Sith thousands of years after the fall of the Empire, and it's just such a cool looking character.
His armor, particularly,
it's just wild. I mean, let me see if
he literally, if I'm not mistaken, in canon, his whole armor takes over his whole body because it's based on the same stuff that the Yuzhan Vong use.
Yeah, it's like organic, isn't it?
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Here we go. So imagine this in Black Series 6-inch.
Oh my god.
Like, just look at how mad is that?
Sign me up.
I just love this figure as well. But like, again, that done right would be absolutely insane. Like the level of sculpted detail in that armor. And what I always love about Black Series updates to 3 3/4 inch figures is that they always pack in details that weren't there on the originals, and they always differ slightly. So sort of like Prince Shizor, for example, is ever so slightly different to all of his 3 3/4 inch counterparts. Dash Rendar, that will be released in the next few days, he is slightly different to his original 3 3/4 inch figure. So if there's any sort of slight variation that they could make on this figure in Black Series, then I'd be all for that as well. But also, not to mention the fact, like I said, it is the Sharad hair under the mask. Like, a photoreal update to that with all the tattoos and stuff.
His miscoloured eyes as well.
Yeah. Oh, it'd just be unreal.
And you know
what's
even great about this one, Steve, is the fact that if they release this, the amount of people clamoring for a Cade Skywalker.
Oh, see, I came so close to picking him.
Yeah.
I really did.
But I'm glad you didn't.
No. It's like you said, like just talking about like like what you said with the Mandalorians, like Cade Skywalker is so far removed from what a Skywalker normally would be. Like, I came very, very close, very, very close. But yeah, like I said, I put together a 2-pack for the purposes of this exclusive, and the second Sith Lord in this pack is Darth Bane, and I really, really wanted to choose his OG look with sort of like the mesh mask, just purely because like Darth Krayt is such a out there design, and the original look for Darth Bane, which also saw a 3 3/4 inch release back in the Evolution set, which is on topical. They're both just such bizarre and wild looks for these characters, and I really wanted to pick the OG look, but I think the version that we saw in the Clone Wars and that we've seen since in the mobile game is more canonical.
Yeah.
So obviously this would probably be the version that they went with, but again, it's like you were saying with the Mortis gods, like Darth Bane. He created the rule of 2. He's responsible for modern Sith ideology. So, like, the fact that he's had so little representation as an action figure, despite being such an iconic Legends character, and now has made his way into canon as well. Like, let's have some action figures of him as well. Like, and the fact that we've had that OG look in 3 3/4 inch. Give us something different in Black Series and give us the canonical look for him, which I absolutely love. Again, it's just such a weird design. You've got this very sort of medieval knight look to his armor. I think there's a lot of stuff you could do with the paint apps, especially around the eyes. Like you could, like even though you can't add lights to these figures, you could really make those eyes piercing
light
and
piping.
Well, yeah, I mean,
yeah,
you could do it. It might take away from the overall aesthetic, but there's a way of doing it so that those eyes could look glowing. I just think, like I said, just for overall shelf presence, I think these two would make, even though they're from different eras of the timeline, I still think they'd. I like what Hasbro. I'm probably in a minority, but I like what Hasbro have done with Legends characters so far. Whereas they've not just released a wave of figures from the same media, they've sprinkled them in here and there because it just creates. I mean, I don't know how you guys have got yours displayed, but my Legends Black Series figures are all on one shelf together, but it's just this eclectic mix of different characters. So I've got like Shizo, Cal Kestis, Starkiller, the Republic Commandos, Darth Malak, Darth Malgus, the Stormtrooper Commander. Like it's just such a mix of characters and figures, and I love how it's put together. And I like that they've not committed to one wave that covers one piece of media. So the fact that you've got all these random characters from comic books, from video games, from all these different areas of the saga, I just absolutely love it. And years ago I'd have said, oh well, it's not, and for certain characters it doesn't work, so it doesn't really make sense to sprinkle a Bad Batch character here and there. It doesn't really make sense to sprinkle a Rebels figure here and there. But for figures like this, where that Hasbro aren't going to pour a whole lot of love and attention into, they're just going to purely release them as random figures now and again. I'm perfectly all right with that, and I think as an exclusive as well, these two just make total sense. So
absolutely,
and like I said, just to get more. I mean, imagine a shelf where you've got Darth Revan, Darth Malak, Darth Malgus, Darth Krayt, Darth Bane. Fuck it, appease the pervs, Darth Talon. Get her out there as well.
Yes,
like. There's so many weird and wonderful looks for Legends characters and Sith in particular, and I just think, just give us something wacky and out there and weird. And I think these two are just a perfect summary of that, quite honestly. And like I said, I think done right, paint applications, sculpted detail, everything on these would just be absolutely insane.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
So thank you for coming to my Sith talk. So yeah, there are exclusives. There are exclusive pictures for the last Black Series wave.
Brandon, get your notepad out, mate.
I was just about to say, like, take some notes because I think these are all they're all fire picks. Not to blow my own trumpet, but James, I mean, like, just going back to you, mate. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
I'd like to say that I came up with this once the topic became fruitful, but now I think about this almost every other day.
Yeah, I'm going to say you've been sitting on this one for as long as I've been sitting on a Black Series Kyle Katarn. So
Yeah. Oh yeah.
But no, it needs to happen. It's long overdue, and it's a must. I mean, the fact that we didn't even get so much as I think out of all of those, the Sun is the most toyetic. So I'm really, really surprised that we never got the Sun as part of the original Clone Wars line.
And they did have a habit with that Clone Wars line, didn't they? Just to release random oneers, like Boss and Serapis.
I mean, when we get into my wave picks, you'll see that theme continued to a certain point. I'm it's not even like negative thoughts, but I'm almost forever peeved that we didn't get more. You know, it died in its infancy, even though it ran for fucking 5 years. So
yeah. Yeah, it needs to happen.
Yeah, I'll take that. It's not far from the truth.
And then Dan, just to reiterate on your pick, Mandalorian Legacy. Again, long overdue characters in with Satine and Gar Saxon, but nice in left field for Mandalore. Yeah, and there's mine, Darth Krayt and Darth Bane. So yeah, there we go. Those are our main picks for not our main picks, the exclusive picks for the final wave of Black Series. So now let's dive in to our mainline picks, and this is where it gets all kinds of freaking order.
Oh yeah,
so
spicy.
So Dan, we'll start with you, mate.
Oh, go on.
And
man. What have you picked? What have you put on from my list? Go on.
I love it. It's mental.
What do I get to talk about first? Oh, yes! Yes! This is buckle up, buckaroos. So I'm gonna talk about the one that I've got least to say about, to be perfectly honest. Mission Veo is from the Knights of the Old Republic. That is the blue Twi'lek lady. She should be out. She should be out because we've got Zalbar, and she's literally a companion to him. She's like Zalbar and her are a two dealio thing. That they're both together when you meet them. They're thick as thieves, and there's plenty of the Knights of the Old Republic followers that they could do. Obviously, Mission Veo has been one of them that I've gone for. But Karth, the Mandalorian, I always forget his name, who's a badass, who we see in the second game. I mean, we've had Bast Lashan, but the droid, I always forget the name of the droid. There's so many followers from Knights of the Old Republic that they could do. But I went with Mission Veo because Zalbar was such a weird choice that Hasbro released. I hadn't played Knights of the Old Republic when obviously they released him, but having since played the game, it's like, okay, makes sense why they did him kind of, because it was an easy one for them to do with the parts that they had. But having played the game, it's like, well, why didn't they release Mission Veo to go with him? Mission Veo should on that basis be made to go with him. And that's purely the reason why I chose her. She's a cool character. I like her. I didn't really use her for many of the missions, but the interactions I had, great. Now, the one that I have a lot more to say about. Ochi.
I was just about to say, unless you've read the comics, you've probably got no idea who that is.
Yes, yeah. And you have seen this character before. If you've watched, The Rise of Skywalker. But this is Ochi of Bastoon. So I wanted to kill two birds with one stone with this choice, because what you can do is you can have a comic book version of Ochi Bastoon, which we have here, but then all the parts be overlays that you can take off, so you can have a Rise of Skywalker version. So have the head sculpt where it is literally his alien head with his little teeth he's showing. But then you can also have the version which looks so much more badass, so much more like a Sith assassin that he is in this comic book outfit. And also it gives people a reason to pick up too. I've become a real fiend for buying two of the same thing at this point. And for something to give me a reason to buy it again, it's just like a cool, awesome. I'd love to see Ochi of Bastoon, because he's such a weird looking guy, and especially in the comics, his outfit is so badass. There's so many accessories that you could include with him, like I mentioned with the overlays. I even think you could include the Wayfinder, because we haven't had that included with the figure. It just opens up so much opportunity to do things with him. And again, it appeases comic book people and sequel trilogy people. That's it, really.
No.
Also, thank you to Bone Swiss for pointing out the characters' names that I completely missed in my brain. Canderous, fucking love Canderous. He would have been a choice, really, but I've got to go with Mission Veo, because she goes with Zalbar. Zalbar looks like a bit of a missing lost part without her. That's what makes me sad. So,
do you know what I love about these two picks, Dan, is that it just encapsulates everything we were saying at the start of this stream, that it just allowed us to get so creative and so wacky with it, because I'll be honest, until you chose them, because I've not read the comics that Ochi appears in yet, so I'd never seen him in this form. So I was like, wow, okay, that's a look. And I, like you, have never played. Well, I know you've played it now. You've been on a bit of a binge with it, but I've never played to its conclusion the Knights of the Old Republic, so I wasn't overly familiar with Mission Veo either. So it's opened up. It's allowed it's allowed this stream to be fun and educational. So I'm here for them. They are like I said, left field picks, and I just think it picking a wave of 6 allows you to cover every base, and these two certainly do that. So I'd pick them up. And you could also, to play devil's advocate, you could quite easily repaint Ayla Secura for this figure as well.
Yes. Why not?
Oh, well done, Steve. I was thinking it.
Very good. Very good, sir.
If you know, you know.
Obscure references. Brilliant.
Cheeky.
Now, you see, I had no idea who that character was before you brought her up, Dan, despite owning Zalbar.
Yeah.
But for me, what would interest me most is, again, it's not a joke, reusing parts of that to quite easily make Numa from Rebels.
Yeah.
So, but this is why I like these streams as well, because 10 minutes ago I didn't know that Sharad Het was the same character that you brought up, Steve. And
what? Really?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Wow.
I never delved that far into the story, which is crazy, because I read the comics that the comic packs used to come with, and that was my introduction to that character. I just never, pursued it any further.
Oh, I feel all superior.
Whereas with this character, when I get characters in the Black Series that I don't know, it allows me to go off and find the source material and learn something new and have a fun time.
Yes. So. And that's what I loved about those comic packs and all the expanded universe characters they used to release. I'm like, who the fuck is that? They look weird. I want that. And then I read into them. I'm like, oh, okay, cool. And then you sort of pursue the media that they're a part of.
Yeah.
And I think that's what, both these do. Yeah.
Biggest one for that for me back in the comic pack days was Darth Tractor. Like, who the frig? Not Darth Tractor, Grand Moff Tractor.
Grand Moff Tractor, yes.
Yeah, I was like,
Tractor, yeah.
Freaking hell.
With his little weird goggles and breathing mask.
Yeah.
Creepy. Yeah.
Apparently he was like the Rudolf Hess of the Galactic Empire, and wanted to overthrow the Emperor and Vader, and there's a little bit of a He's got some big ideas. Bless him. But no, it's just this is what I love about these streams in particular, and this one especially, just because of the freedom that we've got to explore every corner of the galaxy, essentially. And I look to my left, and I'm looking at my 3 3/4-inch display, and to this day, like the shelf that I've got that covers those comic packs and the evolution sets and the expanded universe, it's one of my favorite shelves in my collection because it is just such an eclectic mix. I mean, I'm looking at Shea Vizsla, I'm looking at Shadow Stormtroopers, I'm looking at Dirge, I'm looking at, the Republic Trooper Jace Malcolm. He was very nearly a pick.
Yeah.
But it's just, I love it. It's so... I just love the expanded universe. I love it so much. It's still canon to me, damn it. But
yeah, what I would add though in terms of Mission Veo, because I think I kind of glazed over a little bit. I think you could really do some cool accessories for her, because I think the weapons in Knights of the Old Republic are so far removed from what we see in the current media of Star Wars and how we view the prequels and original trilogy. I think the sort of stuff that you could include there, because I could be completely wrong, but I'd love to see them include some mines with her, because I think she's a mines. Either that's Candrass or her. But there's a mission,
like a demolition. I think isn't that, if I'm not mistaken, that is Candrass.
Could be.
I don't know a great deal about KOTOR to stake that claim, but it rings a bell. It rings a bell.
I mean, even with that being said, Mission, I mean, I think she's more stealthy as well. That might be her more of her shtick. But you could do some cool accessories, like even including some of the things that you pick up, like med stims and things like that, would just be a cool little nod. Because if you can't think of much to include with her, just put little things that you'd pick up in the game as
I love that
little
idea.
nod.
And
that's something they missed out. Yeah.
Yeah. That's something really cool, actually. I've never actually even considered that. Like when it comes to picking, like for example, when I've banged the drum about Kyle Katarn, I'm always like, oh, he's got to have his Briar pistol. He should come with an E11 and he should come with the rail detonator. But yeah, throw in some health packs, throw in some shield recharges, throw in all that stuff that you go around picking up in the game. Throw in a little Bacta tank that you pick up. Oh, that's such a cool... I love that.
I brought that up only because of the recently released Lego Death Star, because at the very back of it, they've put a mini kit in it. So I'm like, okay, why don't we get that in figgy form? Why don't we get stuff like that?
Don't talk about that Death Star on this stream, mate. I've got more things to say about that than I have about the gunship, but I'm not going to. Fucking hell. I watched some reviews on it recently, and I was just like, if I didn't hate it before, I hate it even more now.
Oh, I really fucking want it. Let's not go any further into this.
I didn't. No,
I think it's great.
Oh my god, get off!
me and Dan were talking about it when you were getting your brew in.
Oh no, absolutely not. It's a massive no from me.
Don't get me wrong, I ain't fucking paying that for it, but I still think it's good.
What have I started?
Yeah, well, yeah. Next stream.
Moving
Lego
swiftly
UCS on. Yeah, moving on. James, your picks, my friend, come from...
Here we go.
Animation, but 2 forms of animation, and I'm here for both.
Yes.
Let's go.
Well, I mean, I've spoken about... Let's get the quickest one out of the way first. I've spoken about the Nell Von Anakin before on... Was it our very first stream that we did?
It was.
Many years ago now. And it still hasn't been made. And I think it needs to be, because the Tartakovsky Clone Wars is a funny one for me, because I can't watch anything online. I can't go through the internet without people always making it a battle between the 2 versions of the Clone Wars. And I think just don't, because if I have to weigh in, we know the superior one, but it's not to say that the characters and designs that we see in, the early version aren't really good. And I think this is a really unique one, and one that deserves an action figure. It's just cool. I think when I first bought it up back then, it was in a throwback to the 30th anniversary collection release, which is just, what a mega figure. I couldn't find that anywhere. And then my mum found it for me one day in a Woolworths, and you've just been waiting for a figure for so long as a kid, and then you finally get your hands on it, and it's just the best thing ever. I just need a Black Series one. I need a modern version of that to encapsulate the memory on the shelf, and under the pretense of the line ending, if it did well, maybe if it was executed well, no reuse, brand new figure, fucking, it would put a lot of faith back into it. People would suddenly, can we have some more figures from that Clone Wars, please? Can we have this? Can we have that? So that's top of the list for sure. Yeah, I hear you, Jesse. Funny enough, when they revealed the Bounty Hunter version at San Diego Comic Con, I got a message off Steve saying, "Oh, you're gonna have to change your pick."
I know, I'm an idiot.
I'm like, no, I won't, son. No, because like the Dark Disciple version, yes, but I really worry that if we got that version, they wouldn't necessarily do Quinlan Voss, and I think when you're talking about selling figures to the majority, despite the characters being popular, I think basing them on a novel, to say it would be a waste is the wrong word. I don't necessarily mean it like that, but because it's not, those designs haven't been heavily featured in anything but those unfinished animations and the art for the book, I don't think people pay them the necessary attention they so rightfully deserve.
It'd be risky.
So going with the Bad Batch version, which has now been featured in Tales of the Underworld, for me, that's what I want on my shelf. Because I've got space on the Bad Batch shelf; it'd go there really nice. And again, I don't think we've seen the last of Ventress. Whoever picks up that thread in the future, it's got promise, and she's a fan favorite character from the Clone Wars. Absolutely, this would round out the three. Well, this would make 3 to the 2 that we've already got or got coming, round it out quite nicely. But yeah, and talk accessories. Anakin, give him the exploded arm, lightsaber, maybe the crystal that he's grabbing to crush to destroy that power crystal.
Yeah, I would just say maybe with that one, just give him everything that the 30th anniversary collection figure came with.
Yeah, that works.
Lightsaber, blown up arm, like you said.
Ventress, just lightsaber, backpack. That works. But I think you get some really nice detail as well with the photo real stuff that we're getting just lately. Because Ventress and the Bad Batch has got all those like subtle scars on her skin from where Count Dooku attacks her with the Force Lightning in the Dark Disciple book. So it's just nice little detail that 10 years ago it would have been something that was easily skippable by action figure standards, but today we get like the best possible version. So that's what I'm all for.
Definitely. And when you think about it, just going back to that Nelvar and Anakin as well, it's such an easy figure to do because you could just and I wouldn't be opposed to reuse on this one either. So use the shirtless Maul body.
Oh no, bugger off! Don't do that. That's horrible.
Really? It'd serve the purpose though. Surely.
Not when I've got a Maul and 2 Night Brothers on the display that are as ripped as Anakin is. It does. Not that I'm like really desiring like a fucking ripped Hayden Christensen, but he put work in for that topless scene in Revenge of the Sith where he wakes up from his nightmare. So in terms of this will come up for some other picks as well. In terms of the Black Series sort of mandate being realistic interpretations of anything from animation or video games, that's the the iteration of the character you would base this particular styling on, which I believe is what they did for the card back art on the 30th anniversary collection one anyway.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, you could reuse the new legs off the new Anakin to a
That's
point,
what I was thinking.
but I think it needs like a nice mix between something aesthetically pleasing and moderately, articulate. Because if it was super articulated, I think you'd lose a lot of the detail for those tattoos.
Yeah, true.
Not much more to say, really. You know where it's like. These are characters I want on my shelf, so that's why I fucking picked them.
Yeah. It's not just that as well, but like I said at the start, like we're putting a bit of we're coming to the sort of the like conclusion of our Black Series wish list, because we've covered every other area of the saga so far. So this is, like I said, putting a bow on that.
Yeah.
But it also allows us to carry some of those picks over from previous wish lists. Because at first I thought I was the only one who'd done it until you mentioned about the first stream that we ever did, bringing Nelvan Anakin up, and I'd completely forgotten about that. So I thought, I've cheated because I've carried forward some picks from previous streams. But we made those picks for a reason. So if this is, like I said, the final wave of the line, it makes sense that some of those picks had carry forward. And I think that's a stellar choice to be carried forward, and one that, again, I mean, it's wild to me that we actually already have 2 3 3/4 inch versions of Nelvan Anakin, because we got one that was based on that.
Yeah, and that
animated
DVD 3-pack.
Yeah. And then we also got the realistic interpretation in the 30th anniversary collection, which to this day is still one of my favorite figures. It's so damn good. And
you see, what I thought of with these picks, as well as the rest of them that people will see, is the guys out of the basement on Monday Night Figure Ball. Would it be fair to say they were like heavily original trilogy influenced, like main media movie?
Yeah,
so
I mean,
I
like
wanted
I said,
to.
I think their streams were heavily reliant on, these are figures that if the Black Series is going to end, it can't end without these characters being released.
Yeah.
This is
See,
just.
I wanted to cover like the whole of Star Wars in a way, but the underdogs. So like the more niche sort of properties.
Yeah.
But yeah, that'll become more obvious as we move forward. So
yeah, for sure. But yeah, that's what I said to you guys, wasn't it? When I suggested doing this, was if a line is going to end, it needs to be a celebration of Star Wars, and that is, I think, what we've ultimately put together is we've just covered, like I said, every corner of the galaxy. We've celebrated the saga as a whole, and paid a little bit of an homage and shown some love to some of the lesser known characters and some of the more, like you said, the more niche stuff. So yeah, I'm here for it.
Yeah.
I'm going to completely shit on that sentiment now by with my first 2 picks. So my first choices are the Death Star Gunner and Starkiller, Lord Starkiller from The Force Unleashed. Now, like I said, Death Star Gunner, criminal that we don't have it in the Black Series yet, and this is a figure that's popped up on a couple of streams. It popped up on one of our wish lists, I think Dan, it was you that picked it for the original trilogy wish list, and the guys over at the Basement shouted this one out as well. But it needs to happen. I mean, what I wanted my wave of figures to be was, like I said, that eclectic mix. So you've got every element of media covered, but also every element of characters as well. So it's you want to have that mix of troopers, aliens, Jedi, gaming characters, all that sort of stuff. There needs to be that blend of different characters for one final wave. And I think of all the troopers, I mean, it did come down to the wire on this one, because I very, very nearly picked an update to the Biker Scout, because I think given what they've been able to achieve with the Stormtrooper and the Clone Trooper sculpts that we have now, the Biker Scout is in drastic need of an update. It's such an outdated mold. It's such... by today's standards, it was great at the time, but by today's standards, it's very, very janky.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I really wanted to pick an update to the Biker Scout, but then I thought, no, if it's a final wave, it needs to be all new characters and all new figures that we've never seen. So the Death Star Gunner falls into that category. It's a trooper that I want to see. It's out of the ones that have been released, to be fair, stormtroopers, biker scouts, snow troopers. We've seen pretty much every other trooper already. So the Death Star gunner is one of the only ones remaining to be done in Black Series. So get it out there. Like we've talked about on that original trilogy wishlist stream, when this one came up, I think in terms of paint applications, this one would be really good because you'd have that blend of matte and gloss. So you'd have the really nice shiny helmet, matte finish on the uniform, removable vest panel, or chest armor piece. I'm thinking back to the Saga collection 2006, where you could pick up 2 figures and you could remove the chest armor to have a different look because you'd have the more sort of overall look underneath. I just think there's a lot that they could do with this one to make it look really, really nice.
Yeah.
And yeah, just to bulk out that Imperial Black Series ranks, I think that'd look really, really nice on a shelf. So for me, it's a must. It is one of those figures where, in the same sort of approach to the guys that have done these streams before, like if the line is ending, it's one of those characters that needs to come out before it comes to its conclusion. And the same can be said for Starkiller as well. I mean, I really wanted to put Kyle-Katarn in there. I really did, but I think now I'm of that mindset now where I feel like with the characters that we're getting, with the figures that they're making in Black Series, Shizor, Dash Rendar, some of the others, like I think we're closer than ever to Kyle-Katarn becoming a reality. And I think if rumors are to be believed, I think he's going to be coming pretty soon. Whereas it's all been a little bit quiet on the Starkiller front. But to get this version of Starkiller in the Black Series needs to happen. It's such a cool and iconic look. I think there's definitely parts that you could reuse from the existing Starkiller figure to create this one. But then all the new tooling would just take this figure to the next level. And I'm thinking, again, same paint applications as with the Death Star gunner. Nice mixture of matte and gloss. Like the blades on the gauntlets and on the gloves, the lightsaber, go to town on this one and include all the different lightsaber hilts as well that you can hook to the belt. Like, just really go to town on it. And I think in terms of crisp, sculpted detail, this would be outstanding as an action figure. And I really hope we see it sooner than later, but it needs to happen.
Mm-hmm.
Needs to happen. If they don't release any other Force Unleashed characters, not to foreshadow, but if they don't release any more Force Unleashed characters, then for me, this is the one they need to do. But I understand the argument for some of the others as well, of which we'll get to in a bit. But yeah.
I agree. I had an accessory thought for this, if you don't mind me mentioning it, Steve, because it's specifically that this version of Starkiller is specifically derived from the DLC when is it like, I don't know what they're called. It's a Sith edition or whatever it is when he's It's like the what if it was Starkiller, not Vader. So he's in the Echo base and he's trying to stop the Falcon and all that business, and he fights Luke. They could include an alternate head for the Snowspeeder Luke with the Sith eyes. That'd be cool.
Oh yeah.
I just think you need to make this figure a scaled down version of the Hot Toys release
without the curtain hooks on the lightsabers.
Yeah. Well, that's what I'm saying about reuse. I think I'd forgive him for taking that malleable plastic overlay from the lower half of the skirt for this one. I mean, you'd have to adapt it to a degree because it wouldn't be accurate. But that figure had all the hooks on the belt for lightsaber hilts. I think I mentioned it in my review that it had multifaceted. Get it used on this one, I'd forgive it for the sake of getting the character in the line. Like I said, I think that's one of the things that I'm sort of finding myself leaning more towards these days, is that I'm happy for reuse to be I'm happy for retooled parts to be used if it makes sense. So I wouldn't mind if it means that we get the figure. I'd much rather have the character in my collection and be slightly inaccurate than not have it at all. So that's where I stand on this one. But for a final wave, like you said, James, throw the budget out the window.
Yeah.
The line's ending anyway. Fuck it. Go to town. All new sculpt, ideally, but just representation of this look for Starkiller, because Starkiller is such a popular character as well. It'd sell like fucking hotcakes, let's be honest. So, yeah, needs to happen in any way, shape, or form. But just to go back to what we were saying about Force Unleashed characters, James, we'll come back to you and your picks. Talk us through your second choices, mate.
Oh, okay. Well,
I realise I've just shafted the order.
Yeah,
but
That's fine.
You
That's
caught
fine.
me off guard, but I see why. So yeah, we'll start with
flows
Rom
well.
Kota then.
It flows.
Yeah, no, it's
it's
good.
a segue.
Yeah. So yeah, Rom Kota. I mean, the original Kanan, if you will, to a certain point. But I just think he's a great Jedi. At the time when The Force Unleashed came out, he was a very, left field Jedi in terms of design, character traits, I suppose. The idea that he, doesn't trust the clone army, so he creates his own band of militia. That I just really like that. It's a memorable part of the first game. And that's the version that I would want as well, from the first appearance. Again, like what they did for the 30th anniversary collection. I think it's iconic in its own right. It's a really cool, rough and ready character to put on the shelf. It fits that sort of expanded universe aesthetic really well. Again, with some of the video game figures they've been doing lately, there's no reason why they can't go to town and just put all the bells and whistles on it. Finally get a proper way to put his lightsaber away, because with Black Series you can take the blade out, and he, very nicely has it on his back, like a samurai would. I don't really know where else to say, really. It's just something. Again, I just want it. Like,
you don't have to justify his reasons, guys. He just wants it.
Because we've got Starkiller and they chose the first game version, I feel like he needs a companion character on the shelf that isn't a trooper or a royal guard. And this makes sense. It's his first proper victory, and it's his test to prove himself to Vader.
Yeah.
I think the easy option for him to do another Force Unleashed figure as well would probably just to be retool Tala and put out Juno Eclipse, which I wouldn't mind, but I think it's one of those where it's just like, oh yeah, they could easily repaint and just create a new head for that figure, and bang, there you go, you've got your character. But this again, just going back to that whole completely new tooling, go to town on the wave, like.
I mean, you can have a different head in there as well, interchangeable head, because he pops up later in the game when he's got the bandages around his eyes, blinded. Longer hair, he's taken to drinking. He's a sad Jedi as Rom Kota. But I think the story and the way that it's written, that how you defeat him and you think he's dead and then he comes back, ultimately there, and that at that point Starkiller is creating a future for himself without realizing it. It's that bit when he's like, I can see your future, boy, and Vader will always be your master. That just just lives in my head rent free. Just like the Clone Wars, it was the same year. I had lots of fun playing this around Christmas when I got it.
Yeah, me too.
And at the time, it was something very unexpected. Something, a completely different telling of a Star Wars story.
And I think that's one of the things that really stands out for me about Rom Kota as a character, because Force Unleashed came out in 2008, and with the exception of a couple of characters in, I'm going to say, comic books, Rom Kota was at the time, one of the very few Jedi that, and it's one of the things that I really appreciate about his character, is that he's one of the few Jedi that survived Order 66. There weren't that many of them floating about at that time.
Yeah.
Nowadays, it's like every man and his dog managed to avoid it, but he was one of the few at that time, and it just like made the weight that he carried as a character so much heavier. Like there was just something more appealing about him because of that, and like you said as well, because of his mindset, the fact that he didn't trust the clones, he was a bit more rough around the edges, very much kind of an opposition of what the Jedi stood for in the prequels. He came across to me at least as a military leader.
Yeah.
He was that above, and he felt like he was that above a Jedi. And I feel like, the fact that we got this guy in 3 3/4 inch, and then later down the line they ended up releasing some of his militia as figures as well. I'm picturing it. I'm manifesting it in my brain. I'm thinking of the display on the shelf, and sod it. Extra exclusive. Throw a Ram Kurta militia trooper out there as well.
Yeah, with that big fucking Gatling gun. That'll do, mate.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, so my other pick is I think it's a refresh. I think, again, I picked this one years ago. And that's because I'm forever peeved that we didn't get Reiko Hardeen in the original Clone Wars line, because I think those episodes are some of the best. And, they're directly consequential to the events of Revenge of the Sith in a roundabout way. I mean, not to criticize you, Steve, but I would have gone with a picture where he's got his cool helmet on, because I think
I tried
a lot of.
I tried, but no, like the limited amount of high res images that are available for this guy.
Yeah,
that's the picture that I wanted.
It's criminal.
That's the picture that I wanted to show, because it's obviously the Ralph McQuarrie Boba Fett
That's
concept
it,
comic,
yeah.
Which
I love it. It's just so cool. It's amazing. Obviously, it's not actually that character. It's Obi-Wan pretending to be that character, and I think those layers to it just make it all the more interesting. You've got the cool helmet that he's got, give him the sniper rifle, maybe the little briefcase for it, whatever. But I just love throughout the episodes the skill set that the bounty hunters got are amplified by Obi-Wan's skill set, in a really mischievous way, because it's all about infiltration. And again, it's a big part of Anakin's story and his distrust for the Jedi long term. It's just a great character, and yeah, I would prefer to have it in an animated style, but I'll take what I can get, given the how things are these days. It's got to be done in a realistic way, but I think it could be done really well. And again, for people that aren't interested in the character that much, it's a cool bounty hunter to just put with any other display in the background. 3D printing's big, dioramas are big. People find ways of putting, just characters that don't belong there somewhere in the background hidden. So I think, it's multifaceted. It serves purposes for all different kinds of collectors, really.
Mm-hmm.
You know what they should include with this one as well? An alternative head with Obi-Wan without his beard.
When he's old. Yeah.
Definitely. Imagine that. That'd be a mind fuck, wouldn't it? Because again, it'd be a realistic interpretation of an animated character. So you include that alternate head of Obi-Wan, and it's basically just Ewan McGregor, but completely clean shaven.
Yeah,
from top to bottom. Like that just throw me off. That'd just really put me about. I think.
You get 2 in 1: a Star Wars and a Train Spotting figure.
Yeah,
that's it. Yeah.
Nah, both solid picks, mate. I mean, like for Reiko Hardeen, it's like long overdue because he never got a 3 3/4 inch release. But for Ram Kurta, like upscaling that because the 3 3/4 inch figure was still pretty solid, and again featured a nice mix. Like you got soft goods on that one. Carry that over into the Black Series release with the cape, like the amount of... Again, I think the biggest thing to apply to every one of these picks is that they need to be done right, because if you put a Ram Kurta out there that's just got clean armor, it's just going to... Whereas you weather it up to the max like that and just have him looking all battle-scarred, and again, like going back to alternate heads, put one in with Ram as well where he's got the blindfold. Man, it'd look sick.
This is the idea again, like, if this was hypothetically the last wave, and that glimmer of hope was there to, instill interest in, I don't know, future collectors, people that would discover these properties later in life after the line has been all said and done, and then they're finding things like this on the secondary market and collectors are passing on the tale. Oh, well, this was the final wave, and we didn't get anything after this. And then suddenly the popularity again is just given this new spark, because you've got Reiko Hardin, but at this point, none of the other guys from the box.
Yeah.
So a plethora of different bounty hunters, aliens, and then again with Ram Kota, all the different characters from The Force Unleashed that could be made.
And it's interesting what you say about that bit, like the final wave and the popularity and aftermarket value and all that sort of stuff, because it's like poetry, it rhymes. Because you think back to that last wave of the Legacy Collection, and you want to talk about an eclectic mix of characters.
Yes. Yeah.
Bloody hell. Jason Jaina Solo, Dark Trooper, Krook,
well, that's it. For me, a final wave, it shouldn't be the figures that we need to finish the collections we've got, because that's impossible for a final wave for any toy line. You're never going to satisfy everybody. I don't think you'd ever satisfy a single person. So to choose six figures that lead into other collections, it influences desire of wanting more, I think, is the logical way to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because that's the thing, isn't it? Even if you're not going to satisfy every collector with the character selection, you'll at least satisfy every fan of various media.
Yeah.
You know what, as well, it also, with some of our choices, leads new fans into looking into what came before. So, that's a big thing that I found with the toy collecting initially. Was, like we said, we'd pick up a figure that you had no clue who that character was, and then you get home, research it, and you're like, oh wow, that's an interesting character, go off and play the game. That's what an end footnote to a line, if this was to be the case, should leave it open to. It's to let people go off and explore what came before.
It's even though it's a conclusion to a line of figures, it's a jumping off point for new fans to discover older media. So it's it's a blessing and a curse. But no, solid picks, mate. Solid picks, and like I said, long overdue. That brings us to you, Dan, because sorry I did skip you. I apologise.
It's all right.
You've cheated again.
I'm always cheating. I'm always cheating.
I can't believe you've done this.
Oh, yeah. So I'm a scrub. So in terms of these two, one of them is a deluxe, and that is Padme. The other is a multi-figure pack. So we start off with, we've got Padme, who I can't see them doing this in a standard release because she's just going to be that big. Her dress is just big.
Unless they did it soft goods.
Yeah, unless they did it soft goods, but then I don't think it would be as detailed and as good. But someone wants to argue that. I'm open to it.
I will argue it in a moment, but I'll let you continue.
No worries. I like that. I'm here for it. But I think this is a figure that is long overdue, which I think we can all agree on. It's just, it's one of the main characters. One of the main characters from episode 1. One of the most iconic, besides Darth Maul and that packaging branding with his face. She is one of the most iconic things from that film. Parodied very well in French and Saunders. It's just such a great, it'll be such a great figure. I mean, I can't think what accessories they could include with it.
I think it's one of those figures that would speak for itself. It doesn't really need them.
That's it. And it's a real talking point figure, I think. I think the gold, the red, just how regal it looks would just look amazing on display. And that's just the main reason why I've picked this one, because it's like, why haven't they done this sooner? Why haven't we got this yet? I'd love it. And that's the bottom line. There's not really much you can say about it. The other two, however, which I've cheekily said I want as a multi-figure pack. Again, I've tried to format this as if it's like the one last final wave, or rather final assortment of figures. So I'd like to see obviously a 3-pack, obviously a deluxe, obviously a 2-figure pack, and that's where this falls. So a young Count Dooku with Yaddle. I think this could easily be a little bit of reuse at play here. Certainly on the Yaddle, maybe a new torso would be made and a head, and yeah, Count Dooku again. Wind's blowing stuff over, cracking. Count Dooku again. I think you could probably maybe get away with a little bit of reuse potentially, but just to see a young Count Dooku would be awesome, and to depict that scene from Tales of Jedi, because that's one key thing that made me choose these two, because I'd love to see some representation from one of the Tales series. We've not had anything from Tales of the Jedi, Tales of the Underworld, Tales of the Empire. I've had nothing from that. I mean, I could have easily...
We've had Funky Pops.
We've had Spunko Pops, which, again, is really annoying because... and that brings me into a good point. I was so close to picking Morgan Elsbeth and Thrawn, because I'd love to see Thrawn in his more sort of grey-brown Imperial officer uniform before he becomes... obviously Grand Admiral while he's working his way up the ranks. But for me, no. I want to see more Jedi. I think more Jedi. We are clamoring for more Jedi. I think even at this point, we'll be clamoring for more Jedi. To see Dooku, just as he's turning more so, would be awesome. Just have that with a Qui-Gon and obviously Yaddle, because she's such a deep cut. Would be amazing. And that's why I've chosen these two. 3 picks rather, cheekily. So yeah,
solid picks though, mate.
Yeah,
I mean,
100%.
That Queen Amidala. I mean, it's that iconic trailer image of her standing at the window.
Yeah.
Again, young Dooku and Yaddle. I mean, find me a Star Wars fan that doesn't want that.
And it's weird how they haven't done it yet either. I really was expecting when they did those episodes, that was going to be the next thing that Hasbro was going to announce. There's so much falling over.
There are some rumors out there. There's a particular list on a particular website with 2 Tales of the Jedi characters listed on, but it doesn't say who they are.
Cool.
For fingers
Again,
crossed.
though, like talking about realistic interpretations of characters, like it'd be really jarring to see a young Christopher Lee head sculpt on a figure like this, but it'd be so cool at the same time.
Yeah. Would you have interchangeable heads for him though? Because you see different. He hasn't got the beard, and then he's got a bit of a beard, and then he's got, it's starting to grow to the point.
Yeah. This is what I was
call
just
for
about.
That.
This is what I was just about to say about this 2-pack, because I love it. I absolutely love it. But to add to it, what I'd say is I would do this in the same sort of vein as the Commander Gree and Yoda set. So you'd have Yaddle and her. You'd put another council chair in there just to bulk it out, but then also put an alternate head in for Dooku as well.
Yeah.
Just to fill that box out,
That'd be perfect. Yeah, I'd be all for that.
I would, 100%. Because I love this look for Dooku as well. Like seeing Dooku with a blue saber is just so bizarre to me. But
do you know what you could even do? And this kind of goes back with my thing with the weird accessories that you could include with gaming great figures. I know it doesn't appear, but include the bust of Dooku. You've got the sculpt. You've got the sculpt in 3 3/4 inch. Just upscale it, and that would be just really cool as well.
Yeah, pushes that story of his descent as well, doesn't it? And his fall from. Yeah, I'm all for it, mate. All for it. The only, like I said, just going back to Queen Amidala, though, the only thing I'd add with this one, and the point that I'd argue with soft goods, I know there's always an argument to be made, plastic versus soft goods, and I know we talked about it with the reveal of the Chancellor Palpatine figure. But since the reveal of that figure, and I said that it looks naff because that should have been sculpted plastic, because there's a lot of detail that wasn't captured on the soft goods. But then you look at the Barry Sophie figure that's just come out, and the texture that they've applied to the soft goods cape on that figure, there is a way around it to capture detail in soft goods. So either do it in the same way with this one and get all that ornate detail printed. Is it print? Yeah, printed onto the soft goods. That's fine, or like woven into it somehow. But at the same time, I think I would settle with this one being mostly soft goods. What I would do is I would give this a plastic overlay for the collar piece, so that entire, like it's a collar, isn't it? Effectively, the collar and the drape that comes down the middle. I'd have that as sculpted plastic.
Yes, yeah.
Because then that captures. I mean, and we've seen it with other figures where you've got like the piece that falls down the middle of the skirts, Shakti, Luminara, Ventress. You've got that sculpted piece of plastic running down the middle that's got all the really ornate sculpted detail going on there, which would need to be plastic.
Yeah,
and like I said, that collar piece as well. At a push, add a fur trim like the Range Trooper. Yeah. But I think as an action figure, I think that would work a lot better as plastic, entire plastic. But then have that as a separate overlay, and then the rest of the robe be soft goods. I know she has those sort of gold ovals towards the bottom of the dress.
Yes.
Make those plastic, because then at the same time, if you made those plastic, it'd give weight to the dress.
Make it more rigid, and
it'd create a much better flow. But then add the fur trim around the cuffs and around the trim of the skirt. Boom, that's how.
That I think, fuck having it plastic. Because thinking about it as well, one of the biggest complaints I have with, I think, Mon Mothma and even Luven Rail is that the sleeves of the arms are like penguin arms. That's the only way I can describe them, because you lift the arm up and it just looks ridiculous. It's like that with a hand inside it. And there's no flow. You need that flow if you're going to have her in expressive hand poses.
Yeah, this is it.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm with you on that.
I'd just make it a fucking traffic cone. Sorry, boys. All it needs to do is stand there like the picture. Comments are saying make a throne for it, but I couldn't give a fuck about that, I'll be honest.
That's fair, mate.
Like, just a figure just standing there like that. Articulate the arms, but I wouldn't be bothered if the body was all just one solid piece of plastic. Because for this figure specifically, there's no sense in having like a plastic overlay skirt with someone's reused fucking legs in there.
Yeah,
it's just pointless. Just make it a piece of plastic, rotocast the fucking thing wherever you've got to do. Because I think what you're in danger of is having a lot of soft goods on the figure, as the budget for the paint is then it's going to have to balance that somehow for it to be, even though it's a deluxe.
But like you said, James, this is the final wave and the budget is out of the window.
I keep forgetting that.
The chains are off, mate, remember?
Budget's out of the window as well.
Make it look like that Phantom Menace Barbie doll that come out, that'll do.
Yes! Exactly.
If budget's completely out the window, give her a chair as well.
Yeah. Whilst we're talking about the hypothetics of this situation, because there'll inevitably be people watching and the Black Series, that ended, but the Vintage Collection didn't. It did. It died 3 years ago, and you got 12 repacks and 2 repaints, just so we're clear. Or maybe in this demented reality, it fucking died the year after the gunship failed. Oh.
Bombs dropped.
Oof.
But no, I think there's definitely a way around it, and I think for me, a mix, an equal mix of high quality premium soft goods and plastic sculpted pieces are the way forward with this one. I think it'd just look so good. I think, to be fair to James's point as well, even as a traffic cone, as a solid sculpted piece, it'd still work fine. But I think just for that consistency of Black Series quality and articulation and all that sort of stuff, I think it just works better as soft goods. I just like the freedom to, even though it is just going to need to stand there, I like the option of being able to move it around. So I think soft goods as a general piece would just look fire on this one. I want it.
I need it.
And you know what's criminal as well is the fact that we've had 2 figures from Hasbro. We've had 2 figures of Amidala in this iteration. We've had the Power of the Jedi version that came out in 2001.
Yeah.
And we've had the Retro Collection release. That is mental to me, given how iconic this look is. Food for thought. Notepads are at the ready, I hope.
Come on now. Yeah, let's get them made.
So my second lot of picks, picks 3 and 4 for my wave of 6. Again, they are sort of overdue rather than really deep cuts. I feel like James and Dan have really covered the deep cuts a lot better than I have on this stream, but I feel like these 2 are needed. One of them is quite topical. But it also covers a multitude of bases. Like I said, I think for a final wave, you need to have the aliens, you need to have the troopers, you need to have the Jedi. And this covers both for me. So it covers 2 Jedi and an alien. So we've got Size 18, who I think, given Hasbro's current run of incredible Black Series Jedi figures, Size 18 would absolutely slap in Black Series. To have him paired up with Mace and Kit, I mean, to play devil's advocate, fuck it, I'll make it a 2-pack, put Agent Kolar in there as well, so you can round out the Chancellor's arrest scene. I think, given the fact that we're getting Chancellor Palpatine pretty soon, I think this puts Size 18 as a shoe-in to be made down the line. But no, I think Size 18 would be amazing as a Black Series figure, and I've picked an image of the Hot Toys version as a key example of what I expect from a Black Series version of Size 18. So I want those different levels of paint in the head, you know, the different shades in the horns and the gradient of the skin texture. I want that. Hasbro can do it. We know they can. Soft goods robe. Don't get cheap on us, Hasbro. Give us the soft goods robe for this Jedi. That's something that they need to do more of. They need to put more robes with their Jedi figures. Anakin and Obi-Wan, I'm looking at you. But yeah, I just think, like I said, shelf presence, sculpt-wise, it speaks for itself as an action figure. And then Crate Luke. Come on now.
Criminal that we've not.
What the hell? And I think we mentioned this the last time because I'm sure one of us picked him for the sequel trilogy wish list as well. I think it was you, Dan. We saw Gregory Titus Black Series artwork for this figure. We know that it's been at the very least considered. So where is it? Like it speaks for itself. It's Luke freaking Skywalker, and it's the final step that we need a representation of as an action figure. We have the vintage collection version, but they're not. I had issues with the TVC one.
I was just going to say it's fucking ass, man. It doesn't look good at all, does it?
It didn't capture the look, did it? It didn't capture it at all.
Better on card.
Yeah, I regret opening mine. But yeah, again, as Black Series, like soft goods robe, maybe this is the one Luke Skywalker figure where they finally nail the likeness. I just think it needs to happen. It's a key part of the sequel trilogy. It's Luke Skywalker. We all know how much Hasbro love cranking out the Luke Skywalkers. So that's it. I mean, I'm taking a page out of James's book. There's not much else I can say, to be honest.
I agree, mate.
They need to happen.
Fair point, well made for both of them, really. I think Sass-18 is, it'd be a bit daft if it didn't happen relatively soon. And Crate Luke, we've been waiting an eternity for him. I mean, not just his appearance in The Last Jedi, but there's a lot of comic books that use that outfit style for him when he's training young Ben. So, get green and blue lightsabers in there with him, and But did I say last time this was used on one of the streams we did? This is your time to get like Hans dice
Yeah.
in as an accessory. Let's do that.
Yep.
But yeah, I'd buy them both.
Yeah, I'd lap it up.
And the cool thing about the Black Series size 18 is that you don't need to back a gunship to get him.
Oh, it.
James, your final 2 picks to round out your wave of 6, and I am.
Are we ready for it?
I'm waiting. I can't wait for this to kick off, mate.
Go on.
Because even when you sent the list to the chat, I was like, okay, I'm here for it because it's.
I have full justification for this.
I can't wait to hear it, mate.
Yes.
Oh yeah. Let's get Sia out of the way first, just so I can leave you all in suspense. Key character for Jedi Survivor, Jedi Fallen Order. Specifically want the Jedi Survivor version from where her last stand on Jeddah before she is horribly defeated by Vader. That'd be fantastic. She's got a nice lightsaber, cool tattoos on her head. It just sings all of the praises that the Black Series has been getting, really, for deco and things like that. But another pivotal character of the main Mantis crew from the games, which now that we've got Marion, I'm moving on to this soapbox. I want Grease, I want Seer. Let's round out that crew. They're important. But yeah, then I chose Nubs because, again, I want something from all the little in-between things from the Star Wars films. I want things that people don't necessarily talk about every day. And for Young Jedi Adventures, it's part of it. It's an entry point for the young generation of Star Wars fans. How many fathers are going to sit there and introduce 2- and 3-year-olds to this because they've grown up with Star Wars? This is like the hopes and dreams of raising their child on it at the very beginning. But more importantly, when the Black Series first started, specifically when we were shown the prototypes for Kanan and Ahsoka at one of the conventions, there was huge emphasis on the Black Series covering animated characters from across the spectrum and bringing them into a realistic format. And for a while, it felt like it was going to be a constant occurrence to get figures like that. So, and I'm not just talking like the focus on Rebels and Clone Wars, but Resistance almost looked like it was going to get a look in because we got CB-23 and we've got Commander Pyre that they put in those Galaxy's Edge sets. But then there was talk behind the scenes that they were going to do Kaz Ziono at some point. Like, I remember hearing that name getting thrown around some interviews years ago. And then it never happened. And I feel like if you took a character like Nubs, an Ewok, even though he isn't an Ewok, is a great example of what a Black Series version of him could look like. Because, it's very stylized, childish animation in a way. But if you want to take all these characters and realize them into a live action, more adult form, I think this is like a good way to perfectly demonstrate an artist's interpretation in the line, because it's probably the most creative freedom that they're going to have in adapting a character to a figure. Because a lot of these animated characters now have got live action counterparts. So where for a while we were getting interpretations sort of in an upbuilt format, where this is what we think the character is going to look like in live action, we've now got this is what the live action casting of this animated character would look like in her animated outfit. Vintage Collection Hera is a prime example of that. There's no Rebels interpreted version of that figure. It's just an Ahsoka version in the Rebels clothes. So for me, I mean, Nubs is a cool character. He's a cool little boy, okay?
Nubs
cool
Nation.
Little boy. Going right here. Cool little boy.
Yes.
But this can be an entry point in the Black Series years down the line for kids that have grown up watching this show. Like the younger generation at the minute, it's plagued with fucking technology and sheltered childhoods. You know, we played out in the streets, we played with toys. That's a seldom thing nowadays. So maybe if kids have grown up watching this show in the future, this could be a direct avenue for Star Wars collecting to continue. Oh, look at that! Look at that nice premium-looking action figure that they did of a character I watched in a show when I was a kid. Like, I can't tell you how many different TV shows that I watched growing up I would love a collecting company to tackle that they haven't.
Yeah.
I used to watch the 2003 Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Super 7 have just recently picked up the license for that. I used to watch Ben 10 a lot. No collecting company has ever touched that with a barge pole, and it's rife with interesting character designs, aliens, shit that a collecting grade figure would suit down to a T.
And it's got the fan base as well.
This is it, yeah.
Yeah.
So all of these things are what have influenced the thought to pick Nubs. And it's funny as well because I had one slot left and I couldn't figure out who to choose. And I was like, fuck it, I'm picking Nubs, and I'm gonna make a case for it that's untouchable to a certain extent. Because I think everything already exists in one form or another, whether it be like what's previously been stated by Hasbro or what we see in the world today of collecting, that says this would be a good idea. And like I say, this is one character from like a main group of 3 in the show. So if the line has ended and people have grown up and seen this, a new generation has come to the line, they've gone, fucking hell, look, they did Nubs. Did they not do the other guys as well? And then suddenly, you know, there's a momentum and maybe, you know, a resurgence because that popularity's grown again. So, and it clearly performs well because it's on its 2nd season, moving into its 3rd. And I don't know about many kids' TV shows today that are afforded such luxury. So,
yeah.
Not to talk about the lore, I could talk about the show for fucking ever, but people that are into the High Republic books, the amount of characters and locations that they've fed into the show from that, fucking brilliant. So, that's it. That's the mic dropped. Carry on, please.
I am here for it.
Do you know what? When you picked it, I was just like, I can't understand the reasoning. I honestly couldn't. And I was like trying to picture it. I was like, I can't imagine Nubs as a realistic figure. Like, not to say it's a bad pick, because I love how left field it is. I really do. But I was struggling to picture it in the Black Series, if that makes sense. But then you've just absolutely justified it to a T. And I can't argue that. It's so, like, it's you don't tend to apply sentiment to modern programming, I don't think. And I think with you, like you saying about like years down the line, somebody will go, oh yeah, they've made a premium figure of that character from that show that I watched when I was 6. And it's sort of like, some will probably disagree with what I'm about to say, but it's sort of like a modernization of when they released the droids Boba Fett.
Yes.
You know?
Yeah.
People probably looked at that and thought, I used to watch droids when I was a kid. That was what a weird cartoon that were, and they've made a figure of this character from that show. Wow. You know what I mean? It's like an update of that mentality to a degree, and I'm just like, but even just looking at that picture of him, like there's something so. I love that you've picked Cira Junda and Nubs together, and because there's something about that contrast on that slide that works and makes that as a figure appeal to me so much more. Like, if I saw those two on a pipe, like if I saw those two on a Hasbro pipeline slide, I'd be like, I'm pre-ordering them both straight away without even knowing what that figure's going to look like.
It also shows. Sorry.
Yeah, you're right. Go on, mate.
I was going to say, it just shows the full spectrum of Star Wars. You've got this really 100%. Serious character and this goofy little guy.
Yeah.
That's what, to me, Star Wars is all about. It fits everything. It is open for everyone to enjoy.
100%. I love it.
Oh, so good.
I'd take that over a Mortis Gods 3-pack.
All right, let's not go that far, but you know, it's incredibly close.
Thick pick. It's so good. I love it.
Love it.
It's mint. Dan, that brings us to your final two
Here we
picks
go.
for your wave of 6.
Oh, yeah. So you needed a bit of original trilogy love in there.
For sure.
I probably went a bit more than what I was expecting myself to, because I do love a good glup shitto. I do love a good deep cut. And I think one of these does fit a very nice deep cut because of the story behind it. So we'll start off with that one, and that's Lando. I want a Lando as how he appears, and it amazes me we've not had him yet in this costume. This is how he appears at the end of Empire Strikes Back. Now, Family Guy did raise a very interesting point about this in the episode. It's like Peter Griffin goes to him, he's like, "Oh, isn't it weird? Isn't it weird that Lando's in Han's outfit from the first film?" Did no one ever really question that?
He goes, "Go back and watch that scene from the film. It's fucking weird."
That's it. Yeah. Thank you for the correction. So the real story behind this is, as we know, Han gets frozen in carbonite, and the reason for that was because Harrison Ford hadn't signed on contractually to do a third film. So the rumor was that they basically put him in carbonite to be that's it. That's the end of your character story if you don't come back. And to rub it in Harrison Ford's face even more, and the reason why Lando is quite similar in character to Han, being a wisecracking, charming smuggler, was to, have him as the replacement to Han if he didn't return for the third film. So what they did was to apparently rub salt in the wound to Harrison Ford even more and to try and get him to sign on for the third film was dress Lando up in Han's costume from the first film to be this is the guy that's going to take over your character and basically become your character, a replacement to your character if you don't sign on. It's just such, admittedly a bit of a basic figure, but I think the story behind it, the fact that we got it in the 30th anniversary collection, which in 3/4 inch scale, acknowledged that little deep cut. I think Black Series does need it at some point, and it's just such an interesting little story behind that one, and I just really want it. I can't think of what amazing accessories you could put in with it. A blaster, sure, but it is literally silly to have that figure exist. In terms of the other figure, I was going to cheat again, but Steve said, no, can't do that, because I really want to see more Ewoks. I want more Ewoks. I need more Ewoks. And my little excuse to try and pick two, if I may, was to say, this would be one figure, but they'd do a weird thing case-wise where you don't know which one you're going to get in the case, or is it like a mixture kind of thing? Couldn't do that. It has to be no. So I was like,
if you'd said that before, I might have let you.
Oh, would you? Oh, sorry. I thought maybe I didn't bring my point. Maybe I didn't bring my point across, but you know what? That's fine, because I have been very cheeky on all these streams. There's not been a single one where I'm like, I'm going to cheat. So you know what? I needed to be put in my place. So thank you for that. I had to pick one, and I'm glad I was forced to pick one, because Logray is my boy. I mean, Chief Chirrupper was the other one I was considering, but Chief Chirrupper to me isn't as iconic looking. I never really. It's a little side tangent here, but when you look at Chief Chirrupper, you don't really think, "Oh, you're the leader." Is that just me? Is that just me?
No, I agree.
Whenever I saw Logray, and I think that's why when I was at the youngest age, I used to get mixed up with both these characters. I I always looked at Logray like, oh, you're the leader because you're the one that you see. He's like, yeah.
Well, he's the one that like directs traffic as well, isn't
Yeah.
he? He's like,
He's actually a fucking leader. And then you find out, oh no, he's not. He's just he's just the medicine man. He's just there.
He's the cook.
You've got Chief Chirper, who's just this guy, which, you know, you could say about any politician or people in power, person in power. He doesn't actually do anything, but Logray, yeah. He's actually, you know, not only going out with the hunting parties, you know, healing them as well.
And he's got a big skull on his head and all.
Yeah, directing dinners. So I had to pick Logray because for me he's just iconic. He's iconic. He is the moment, and I think the accessories you could include with him because he's got that weird bone staff that he's got. His little bone fucking chicken hat. Just the little medicine bag he's got. Yeah.
There's a little bit more substance there, isn't there, for justifying a 25 quid RRP for a smaller figure. There's a little bit more meat to him.
Yeah, there's the paint as well, the whole paint application on him with how his fur is. You know, he's a bit more of an interesting Ewok, and I think he's an Ewok we do need, like more so over Chief Chirper.
I just want more Ewoks in general. We've only got 3. It's a crime. I want the Ewoks 2-pack that the vintage collection got. I want this guy. And the little baby Ewok in the basket.
Nippet,
Nippet. This is one of the recurring themes throughout this stream, but we've made reference to the 30th anniversary collection quite a bit.
Yeah.
And this assortment of figures is taking me right back to the 30th anniversary collection, because that is still, to this day, one of my favourite assortments of figures, because they did in 2007 what we've done with this wish list, and that is just bring every corner of the galaxy together and just release every single figure that anybody could have ever wished for ever. And it was just insane. It was an insane assortment of figures that were like, what? They've released that? I can't believe it.
It was the perfect celebration, and it wasn't just focused on A New Hope. It was like, you know what? Yeah, we'll have a bit of New Hope in there, but then you've got everything from every corner of the saga. You've got video games, you've got original shows, you've got prequel, you've got sequel, you've got animation, you've even got the holiday special with the Boba Fett.
Yeah.
That's what the 50th anniversary, just as a side tangent, needs to be.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was just going to say the same, Dan. If I have to buy fucking 12 episode 4 figures again on gold foil card backs, I'm not going to be a happy man.
I'm going to be pissed. To be honest, I won't even be picking them up. I'll just be like, yeah, whatever.
We know it's not going to be. We know it's not going to be the celebration that we want, though, don't we?
I want to be optimistic.
I'm skeptical. I'm very skeptical.
I already just not to further the tangent anymore, but I'm almost certain that that's where we're going to get a new Ben Kenobi from.
Yeah.
I don't think we'll see one until the 50th, and then here you go, guys. Original 12. Look, it's repacks from 2 years ago and a couple of new ones. We worked so hard on this.
It's like, I didn't see that one coming. So that's what they always do.
Yeah.
There's a big brown HasLab tractor. Have fun for 5 minutes.
See how it goes. We'll see how it goes. But no, I like it. I like the weirdness of. I think that's one of the things, because like with Lando in Han's clothing, it's like you look at that and you think, yeah, basic figure, but then you think about the weirdness behind it.
Yeah, the context.
I'd still fucking buy it. Yeah,
I would. And I mean, a big shout out to Collector Curve 93 in the chat, who I'm sure is an advocate for this one, because a couple of streams back we showcased a couple of his customs. So if you haven't already, go and check out Collector Curve 93 on Instagram. Does some amazing custom action figure work, and he's actually done a Black Series Lando wearing Han's clothes. So go and check that out if you haven't done so already. But yeah, solid picks again, mate. I'm here all day for Logray, 100%. That brings us to my final 2 picks, and like I said, I've not really gone deep dive with many of my choices, but I've left that to the lads. But I had to delve into the realm of Dark Horse for this one, and it was a no-brainer. He had to
Of
make the
course.
list. He had to make the list. Deluxe it, charge what you need to charge for it. Apply removable armor, removable helmets, big bastard weapons. I just want Hasbro to do everything they can to make this the best possible version of Dirge that could be available, because in Black Series, this figure would be untouchable.
Yeah.
Like,
It would fuck so hard.
There've been there've been some really, really good figures of Dirge in the 3 3/4 inch line so far. We had a Clone Wars version come out in 2003 that was based on his animated look, which was a very static piece, but really captured the look of the character really well. Then we had a realistic interpretation of him in the Clone Wars line that was based on realistic versions of Clone Wars characters, and that figure was insane. Came with the great big jetpack. We had the balls on the chain. I forget.
Mace, yeah,
that's it. The mace. And oh man, it was such a limited in articulation, but sculpted beautifully.
What's mad as well, we got 2 versions of him.
I was just about to say, because we got the swoop bike one as well.
Yeah.
Which I would go as far as to say, if we're gonna cheat and we're going to apply the deluxe and the multi-figure pack ideology to this final assortment, then fuck it. One last vehicle pack. Put Dirge on his swoop bike, stick the skull on the front, give him the lance. Let's just balls to the wall on it. Fuck it.
From the pictures you've shown, Steve, it looks like Dirge is just like fucking dropped down and they're all on the skiff like, who the fuck is this guy?
That worked out quite well, actually, didn't it?
Yeah.
But no, I mean, it's another one of those. It's a fucking like it's a deep cut character, but it's a very, very popular one. And to argue the point as well, it's not something they'd have to rely on the old Legends lore for, because he's canon now as well.
Yeah.
And to argue that point, he would display pretty well with your Dr. Aphra figure. So, you know, there's an argument to be made to get him out there, because he is a part of current media. So
optional reuse as well. Make a Ravis afterwards. Share some of the parts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like I said, I think I'd want this one to be handled. Bugger it, like put the TVC C3PO on steroids and give this removable armor panels so that we can see we can see all these multicolored bloody ribbony guts underneath, like in the Tartakovsky series. Like removable
I think
arms,
he needs a big arm.
Pieces.
Yeah, big arm,
an interchangeable arm. Yeah,
it needs the lot. It needs the lot. Like I said,
Fold
just give this
in and out jetpack.
Give this the deluxe treatment. Put it in as big a box as you need to do, Hasbro, because I will pay whatever money you charge for this one, as long as he is roided up. He's got the removable helmet with the messy head. Fuck it, just go to town on it and make it the best it can possibly be. Because I think as a character, they don't come much cooler looking than Dirge. Maybe Nubs is a close second, but this isn't very. And then my second pick is just a long time one. And again, it came down to the wire because it was either this guy or Reese. But to represent that alien and for that OT love as well, the Weakwaste gift guard is a figure that we really do need in Black Series. We've got quite a few figures from Jabba's Palace now with the Gamorrean and Bib Fortuna and stuff like that. So I think it'd be really cool to finally get this one in the line. There's not a whole lot that you need to pack in with it. Just give him the Force Pike and a blaster pistol.
Yeah.
And that's it. Boom, done. But I think just sculpt-wise, detail-wise, paint apps, they could really do a really good job with this one. And again, I think this was one of was it one of my picks on the OT? No, it wasn't. I did pick Reese. But we haven't had a Weequay in the Black Series yet. And oh no, I am lying. We've had Honda. My apologies. How could I forget about Honda? But no, I just think the skiff guard. I mean, for my money, just any of the skiff guards, Barada, some of the Nikto guards would be amazing. But this is the one, when you say Skiff Guard and you say Jabba's Palace, this is one of the characters that really dives out to me. And the Vintage Collection figure, even though it's a few years old, it recently got reissued. It slaps. It's still a cool figure. It's still beautifully sculpted. Upscale that into the Black Series and you've got a winner. So, again, not much more that can be said about him. But Dirge, like I said, speaks for himself. And there's a lot you can do with him, I think, as well. Collector, for example, has mentioned Obi-Wan and Dirge 2-pack, maybe. I'd be all for that as well. Put a more accurate head on the updated clone body, but then give him the cape and stuff.
Yeah.
Make that a mainline version with all new parts, and then have the Obi-Wan in the 2-pack covered in green slime with the wet hair.
Yeah. Seems I've made quite the mess now, haven't I? Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So good. That Tartakovsky series is fucking unmatched. It really is. I love it. So that concludes our picks. So just to summarise, because as I alluded to at the start of the stream, if you've joined us halfway through and you missed it, we have applied a little bit more creative license and a little bit of a gimmick to our waves of figures, thanks to Mr. East 1000's genius suggestion. So to take a leaf out of Hasbro's Legacy Collection line and also their Marvel Legends figures, it seems only right that the Build-A-Droid gimmick or the Build-A-Figure gimmick is brought to life for the Star Wars license. So that is what we've done. So with each of these figures that we've pitched in these waves, each figure will come with a part to build a figure. So to finalise the waves and to summarise our picks so far, Dan, we'll start with you, mate. You've got your main choices, but then you've also got your Build-A-Figure.
Yeah. So in terms of the thought process behind this Build-A-Droid is, I really want to see more Knights of the Old Republic characters be released. That's the bottom line. As much as past Dan would be paying for me to say that, but I really like the game. And so my mainline figures would be Mission Veo, Lando, Logray, and Ochi Bastoon. And they'd all come with parts to build HK. So Logray would probably come with 2 arms. Lando would probably come with 2 legs just to balance it out more. HK-47 is just an amazing character, and it makes sense for him to be a Build-A-Droid because in both games, if I'm not mistaken, you have to physically build him. You have to try and repair him. No, actually, more so in the second game, you physically go around the galaxy trying to find his parts. But to have HK-47, who's Darth Revan's just little droid henchman, would be amazing and would just display so well on a Knights of the Old Republic display. And he's just such a quippy droid. Some of the shit he comes out with when you talk to him. Statement: to kill a Jedi, you need to da-da-da-da-da. And just a master. The things that he says on the topic of love, and you just watch any clip with HK-47 and he'll make you spit your tea out while you're playing it, because I was when I was fucking dicking about. And as soon as I got him, I'm like, I'm playing with this guy. This guy's coming with me on every mission I'm going on, because if I need an opinion on it, I'm asking him. Even though I'm playing a light side character and his opinion would just be completely not what I'm going for. I'd be like, I'm not doing that. He's such a cool droid, and just load him out with a bunch of weapons. If Hasbro then ever were afforded the opportunity to continue the line, if in this hypothetical situation it didn't, they'd have the sculpt then to do the silver version. I always forget the model make, but there's like a later model that they use in the second game.
Is that the silver one?
Yes.
Yeah. HK50.
That's the one. Thank you. Because there was a deleted. Was it deleted, or they just didn't include it in the game? But yeah, there's a a modded bit of content that people have made where you can go to the droid factory that they're made with HK-47 and you can have shenanigans there. So yeah, he's just such an integral character in Knights of the Old Republic, an iconic character at that I think everyone would want. And if you don't know who he is, then when you research into him, you're like, I'm so glad I have that figure, because that's what happened with me. I'm so glad I have that character in my collection, because that's why I got him in Vintage Collection, because I wanted a representation of him. And it's painful that we haven't got him in Black Series yet. So the culmination,
again, quite poetic that he started off life in action figure form as a builder droid, and he comes to life once again in 6-inch as a builder droid.
Yeah. So it's a little homage to that.
It's like poetry, it rhymes. But what I wanted to do with these summary slides is, for those of you that are still sticking around in the chat, I want to get a bit of input. I want you guys to vote. So we are going to throw it to the comments at the end of the stream, and I want everyone to pick who has put together the strongest wave of figures, so that you can cause some friction between the three of us and some arguments to be had. So that's Dan's wave, like you said, Dan. Mission Veo, Yaddle and Dooku, Amidala, Lando, Logray, Uche, and HK-47. Solid picks, to be fair, mate. Like, such a eclectic mix. Like, you've literally covered every corner of the saga there, mate.
Thank you.
Here for it. I'm here for it. Bravo. James, your wave and build a figure. It's a build. It's not build a droid.
It's
this
a
one,
build a beast. Yeah,
build a beast or build a creature. Fucking
yeah, that works. Yeah. So when we were talking about doing this stream, I think I'd just gotten the Vintage Collection Howler, and it's so fucking cool. And I'm like, you know what? I want Doom from Rebels. Why can't we get that? And I thought, oh, fucking hell. And then Dan's like, look, build a droid. And I'm like, oh, shit. So that's my builder character for my wave is Nubs comes with the body, and then split the head and the limbs between any of the others. And you've got yourself Doom from Rebels, which for me is like a really important character that's often overlooked. You know, it's still Kanan's will at work through the Force. He's still looking out for his family even after he's made the ultimate sacrifice to save them. So I think it's something that's... I'll be honest, I think it'd fit Vintage Collection a bit better.
Yeah.
But I'll take it however I can get it. And I just thought it was a cool concept to explore, because I think if you solely focus on figures for it, there's no point. There's no point in doing builder figures for Black Series. Marvel Legends are even sort of, leaving it behind, because what you can make as a builder figure limits the budget. I know we've talked, it's ending, all that rubbish, but it limits the budget, what can go into the other characters in the wave. So ultimately it suffers, where you could just take the character you want as a builder figure and release it separately anyway. And I feel like for the Black Series, a standard character, it'd be questionable. Why are you doing that? It can be in the next wave. It could be this, and that. So something big, creature, a droid, like if the probe droid wasn't already a deluxe figure, that's something like that could fit into this category. So the concept's great. So I just hijacked Dan at that point. I was like, right, I want to do this, Steve, so you're going to need to pick one too. But yeah, I mean, the mold exists at that point, so you could have any version of a Loth Wolf that your heart desires.
I'm here for it. Yeah.
Same. And again, going back to Dan's picks as well, like, what an eclectic mix of figures for a final wave. Like, I love it. Games are covered, animations covered. I mean, it's very animation heavy, I've just noticed, but that's also fine. I'm loving the lack of OT in that wave.
See, if the Black Series ended tomorrow, albeit we are missing characters from the original trilogy, I think it's covered enough to the point where the last wave shouldn't have any from it. I think the prequel trilogy is getting to that point. Fortunately, I'm so glad that we're getting many more Jedi and characters from the first 3 films. Fantastic. But I think a lot of the underrepresented sectors in the Black Series are the shows that have come out from Disney, because there's so many. The influx of content, Hasbro can't keep up, or maybe it was something that wasn't so, gladly received by the fan base, and because politics often guide everything these days, it's something a toy company doesn't want to invest in, or it's something that's just considered too niche to cover. Wherever it may be, that's what I wanted to include in my wave, because it's all parts of Star Wars that I enjoy the most.
Yeah.
No, perfectly captured, mate. To be fair, I'm loving it. Mine's, like I said, for those that are joining a little bit later and haven't got themselves clued up with my picks, mine again completely shit on everything that James and Dan have just said. But at the same time, I've gone deep enough with it, I think, to satisfy an audience. So my Build-A-Droid figure for this wave is C-3PO from the Phantom Menace. Another criminal act on Hasbro's part that we don't have as part of either Vintage Collection or Black Series, in fairness, because the last figure we got of this was in 2012, and that figure was a repaint of a original 1999 Phantom Menace figure. So the figure that we do have is very, very dated, but again, just to advocate for Black Series' larger canvas of detail, as a Build-A-Droid, this would be insanely cool. And I'd like to think that they'd approach this in a really creative way. Obviously, you'd have limbs and heads and arms and stuff packed with each figure, but in terms of the sculpt and in terms of the way it's put together, I'd really like them not to just solidly sculpt everything. And I'm not saying like intricately thread every single individual wire through the torso and the head, because I know it's impossible. The budget's high for this assortment of figures, but it's not that high. But at least do it in the sense that like the wiring underneath is the solid sculpt, but then the very minimal parts of plating that we have over the top. So I'm thinking the disc around the belly and the other silver parts are separately sculpted overlays.
Yes.
So that it just has that depth.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It might be difficult to do. I'm not a toy engineer. There's a reason why I'm sat on this side of the screen, so making suggestions and rather than actually putting them into practice and making these things, because I don't know how engineering works, but that's how I would like to see it done. Give it that depth, give it that realism, and weather the fuck out of it as well. Like, really make this look and pop like it needs to, because there is so much intricate detail in 3PO in this form, and I really think that needs to stand out on a Black Series version of it. I'm fully confident that because the Black Series isn't ending and this is a hypothetical situation, I think at some point, it might be years away, but at some point I think we're going to get this. I don't know how, I don't know when, but I think it's going to happen. But I just hope it's handled tastefully and done well. But yeah, like I said, as a figure, it just made sense. Head, torso, limbs packed with each figure, and then, like I said, my wave it consists of Dirge. In any iteration, like apply what you need to apply to this one. Whether you want it more heavily based on the Tartakovsky series or the Dark Horse comic, or an amalgamation of both, either's fine. Size 18, a Jedi that would match up really nicely with the other Jedi that we've been getting in the Black Series. I think paired up with Shakti and Luminara and Ki-Adi-Mundi and what have you, it'd look so good. Lord Starkiller, I'm going to bang that drum until it becomes a thing. Death Star Gunner is a much needed trooper. Weequay Skiff-Guard is a hugely needed alien in the line, and Crate Luke is a mystery as to why he's not part of the Black Series already. So yeah, like I said, a little bit more mainstream than maybe your guys' picks, but again, we'll throw it to the comments. If you're watching live, feel free to drop a comment in the chat. If you are catching this on replay, leave a comment down below. But who do you think has put together the strongest wave of Black Series figures. Do we have Dan with Mission Veo, Dooku, Yaddle, Queen Amidala, Lando Logray, Uchi of Bestoon, and HK-47 as a builder droid? Or do you go with James, who's picked Nubs Nation, Nelvan Anakin, Rico Hardeen, Asajj Ventress, Ram Kota, Serajunda, and Dune as a builder creature? Or do you go with little old me, who's picked Dirge, Sizey Tin, Lord Starkiller, the Death Star Gunner, Weequay Skiff Guard, and Crate Luke with Naked 3PO as the builder droid? So leave your comments down below. Let us know what you think and who has picked the best wave. But like I said at the start, guys, this has been arguably one of the most fun wish lists to put together. Because it just allowed us to get so creative. And I think I love that. Jess is so diplomatic. Everybody wins. Do you know what? There's only one winner, and that's you, the fans. But there we go. Let's have a look.
I thought it was Hasbro because they always get me money every month.
This is true. Hasbro do win. Courtney's Cantina, shout out to our channel member. If I had an E11 to my head, I'd have to go with you, Steve. That Naked 3PO had conjured a wonderful image in my head. Oh, there you go. I wasn't expecting a win, to be fair, out of that, because, like I said, I think the assortment of figures, I think you guys have just nailed it. You guys hit the brief, because those assortments are just insane.
We've all hit the brief. It's all what what we want.
From a certain point of view.
Make it a wave of 18 figures and release all of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But no, all solid stuff, mate. And that's the thing for me. It's like I said earlier on when we talked about the 30th anniversary collection, like that is still to this day one of my favourite lines of figures. And the character assortment in that was absolutely incredible. I think Black Series is well on its way to sort of hitting a similar stride. I mean, with that wave that you showcased earlier in the stream, James, with Anakin, Obi-Wan, the Stranger, and the two troopers, like I love these mixed waves. I hate it when we get a wave that's just based on one lot of media. It disappoints me. I like random. I like random, and I like eclectic, and I like weird. So more of that, Hasbro, please. And Brandon, if you're watching, like I said, get that notepad out, mate, because I think we've given you some top-tier ideas there, if I do say so myself. That concludes the stream. Thank you to everyone who's tuned in and joined us in the chat and interacted and tuned into all of these Black Series wish lists, to be honest. I think I could speak for all of us when I say we've had a blast putting them together. It's arguably probably not going to be the last one we ever do, because there's always media coming out. There's always figures to be made. And so we'll probably be back at some point with another Black Series wish list. But stand back in horror, guys, because the next two streams we've got lined up for you are going to focus on the vintage collection. So our next wish list, whenever that comes together, will be focused solely, because I think we've done characters to death. I think it's time for something else to take over. So the next stream we're going to do, we'll settle on a date and I'll get that scheduled ASAP. The next stream is going to be a vintage collection vehicle wish list, which I feel is quite topical given the vintage collection vehicle we are currently looking at all over the internet, and that isn't going to fund. But we're going to talk about it's not going to be HasLab. It's not HasLab. We're not restricting it to HasLabs. Putting that out there. It's purely going to be vintage collection vehicles in every aspect. So I've approached my picks from a point of view of release them as 20 quid vehicles for me. You know, like let's go back to the old days where V19 Torrents and Jedi Starfighters were coming out as 20 quid vehicles. Let's do it that way. Let's lower the budget and let's just get vehicles back out there, not as novelty pieces, because that's one of the things that I don't like about vehicles at the minute, and it's something that I wanted to raise about the E-Wing, is that thing retailed for 105 quid initially, and already it's on clearance at Star Action Figures for the much more appropriately priced $49.95. So we're talking smaller vehicles, we're talking big stuff as well. So there might be some HasLab chatter sprinkled in there. But yeah, for the most part, it's just going to be, what vehicles do we want to see brought to life in plastic? So that's going to be the topic of the next chat. And then depending on how the gunship works out, we would like to put together a Battle of Geonosis wish list, but I suppose depending on when that stream hits and what information becomes available in the time between, like I said, whether the gunship backs, whether the Battle of Geonosis campaign is, whether we see any more reveals from that'll probably dictate whether we put that stream out there or not. But it's in the pipeline. It's one that we want to do. And we're going to cover everything on that one. Play sets, vehicles, beasts, characters, everything. To truly put together a successful Battle of Geonosis campaign. So stay tuned for those. But in the meantime, there's always content to look forward to. I've got a review coming out soon of the Jedi Temple Guard, so stay tuned for that. Dan, have you got any content on the way? Any reviews we can look forward to, mate?
I mean, yeah, I've got a couple on my channel. I've got Krennic up. I've got Death Trooper up. I'm going to probably have, at some point, Ezra up. I'll probably have Merrin up at some point. Depends what package comes through the mail today.
Ooh.
Oh no, I bought some more figgies. not that big one, but hopefully when that arrives. Oh,
apologies.
That's all right, mate. It's like Sith Lord 229 channel members. Come on now. There's got lots of things coming. I know what I'm doing next. Yeah.
He's got an eclectic, just like this stream, he's got an eclectic mix of characters coming to the channel.
That's it.
And James, what about you, mate? I know you've got some photos to post over on the gram, but any reviews or videos to look forward to?
Nice crispy pictures of that wave you saw at the start of the stream on Instagram over the next few days. I was going to do a review of the Stranger, but that means taking him out of the pose I've put him in, so I'm conflicted. So you might just have to wait for Land Speeder Loop to get his. Sorry. I'll see how I feel next week.
That's what I love about these channels, is it's just like, we'll just do it when we can be asked.
Yeah,
ultimately the running thing. But no, like I said, once again, thank you to everyone who's tuned in. We've had a blast putting this stream together. It's been a lot of fun. So if you are late to the party and you haven't tuned in from the start, please do catch it on replay, because I think we've all made solid cases for characters that we want to see in the Black Series, and we will be back with many more very soon. So thank you for tuning in once again, and until next time, as always, keep collecting, and may the Force be with you.